right. Tell him to turn me back. Gotta make this journey.
Good evening, family. Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. I appreciate your support, sir. Thank you so much. If y'all can hear me, let me know. I should be audible tonight. Good evening. We're glad to have Elder Jalen Owens back from his suspension. The Southern California jurisdiction suspended him, so we're glad to have him back tonight. Man, that's a question right there. You starting off, so look, you already started. I ain't even got started. Good evening to all of you, Sister Priscilla, Bishop Ray. Good to see you. Highly favored Smith. Good, always good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. Y'all forgive me, I hit a button or something. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, sir. Glad to hear from you. Rest in peace to Bishop Sanders. Absolutely. Praying for the family. Good to see Pat Smith in from Los Angeles. So good to see you made it in. Yes, Bishop Sanders of Indiana. Absolutely. Um, Roderick Thomas, good to see you. Thank you, Sister Tina. Always glad to see you. Royal Governor, you're in the building. Royalty is in the area. Earl Yoli. Hey, Sister Collier, always good to see you. Thank you so much for y'all jumping in. Um, Good evening, Roosevelt Constant the Third. Thank you so much. Warren Wilcox, good to see you. Thank you so much. Dr. McQuarrie, good to see you in the building tonight. Shotty Gale is coming, um, but I wanted to go ahead and get started. Ain't no telling what Jalen did. You know, Jalen is a renegade, so he probably said something. You know, in the era of council culture. Um, so I think he got counseled by the pastors there on his council. Y'all forgive me, Sister Gail is texting me. They saw his okay. Jalen said they saw his comments on the Heat show and they had to let him. They had to punish him for that. They, you listen. The fact that you was even watching is a will get you punished in this season. Listen, I'm not going to. I want to talk about. I want to get to Bishop Sample and what's going on with him. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, Bishop Ray. I'm doing well. I'm feeling much better. Um, I think the allergies have cleared up. I did go. Someone suggested that I get some local honey. I did that, and that seems to have really also sped up the process. Apparently, if you get local honey, and therefore causes your body to build up a quick resistance to it. So, thank you for all of your suggestions. Thank you all for all of your help. Yeah, I got the local raw honey. I think it was you all that might have said it. But thank you all. Y'all helped me so much um, in that. So let's talk about the General Assembly The election for chairman of the General Assembly is 2026. That's next year, y'all. It's next year. But the deadline for uh, running, for deciding to run, is Tuesday at midnight. Um, and I think I shared with you all, I really was not ultimately considering it very strongly just because I didn't know if it was, if the people don't want change, you cannot force change, if that makes any sense. While you're watching, thank you all who are already here. Thank you all who will come in later and see this. This is why I'm doing this at the top. And so I said, Jalen, to my team, we started getting calls last week from some of the leaders. When I say leaders, y'all know I mean leaders. Some leaders within the church who said, "Hey, Jordan, uh, we want to know if you will run. Um, we want to make sure you have a clear field to do it. It won't be like it was last time. You'll have the support, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, more than a year before the election. It's an odd thing. Um, and so they said, would you consider, this was last Sunday, more calls came in this week and asked me to do it. I said to them, and I want y'all to know, um, who support this platform, because I need y'all to hear where I'm at with this in terms of my heart. I said to them, blessings to you, Maceo. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for coming back in. Always an exciting conversation when you're in the building. Thank you. Um, I said to them, I said, listen, I don't mind running, but the last time, which is still in court, by the way, but the last time, it cost me well over $10,000 just to get through the application nomination process that I then had to fight. Um, because, as was admitted in court, um, they purposely um, moved me from nomination and refused to put me back in. That's what the whole court case was about. Um, and so I said, I just won't do that again. If the people don't support, I'm not going to do it. It's not because um, I'm not capable. It's just because it's a huge undertaking. Yeah, believe it or not, Smith, I spent that much and still ended up in court. Um, I think it will be better, Owens, Jalen. I think so this time. They tell me it'll be better this time, but at the end of the day, I've said to them, if I don't see the support, I can't. Um, it costs me a lot. Y'all don't know because y'all just watch, but y'all don't know it took a great toll on my personal life of dealing with the church at this level. Will stress it'll stress your church, it'll stress your ministry, it stressed my marriage. It was a very stressful time, and I don't want to do that unless the people support. I believe Bishop Rudolph is an honorable man. I don't have any doubts about that. They've done some stuff in the ARC system, but we can clear that up. It's an easy fix, and I believe he's going to fix it. Um, hey, Dr. Sells, I am feeling much better. Thank you so much. You sent me an email, Marco. Oh yeah, I got it. I did see it, and I did reach out to him. And so I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let that play itself out. If you catch what I'm saying, Marco, I don't know how that's going to ultimately play out. Um, I don't really know as of right now. So I'm holding that off. Uh, um, there is no one. The answer to the question Kevin Carter says, is there anyone willing to run against Susan? No one has put in, my name is the only name. I have had some people call me and say they wanted to run this, but I don't believe it's my time, and I believe you should do it. Um, yeah, so I got to do what's best for me and mine. However, here's where I am, and I just want you all to know, if um, if the people support it, I'll do it. If they don't, I won't, because it's not, you know. Einstein says the pure definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. And the reality of it is, there are some people that are happy with the status quo in the church. That here's the rub, right? They're only happy because it's not them that's affected by what happens in the church. And it amazes me how people all of a sudden get a revelation when it's you. And y'all have heard me on this platform for at least 5, 6 years say, it's him today, but it's you tomorrow. And that's the problem. Um, it is, yeah, well, that's, yeah, one of the reasons that, as much as the people want to see change, you got to remember, many of the delegates, you got quite a few delegates that don't, right? Because you got leaders who don't want someone sitting in the seat that says, here are the rules, here's the Constitution, here's what you must do, and then having the power to make you do it. Um, the reality of it is, many of the things you all see go viral and lawsuits and all of that really could be stopped at the chairman's desk. The problem is, so I'm not going to respond to that, Jalen. Sometimes inside baseball is just that, inside baseball. Um, but you can't, for instance, you can't remove a national officer outside of the General Assembly and the chair. You can't remove a presiding bishop, any general board member, judiciary board member, none of elected officials. You can't do that outside of the chairman of the General Assembly, because that one person is the person that decides whether or not it even goes to investigation. That one person is the person who decides whether charges are brought. That one person is the person who decides whether or not um, they take the report of the investigative committee and then send it to trial. Can a woman run? No. It's interesting though. I know they say anyone can run. I know they say no, and I'm gonna show y'all why. Glad you asked that question. Though. Glad you asked that question. Um, I'm gonna show you why. Actually, in all reality, and it has never been changed. Um, um, Bishop Houston really cannot run. Um, but again, we don't follow the Constitution, so we got to live by what we choose to do. I'm pulling it up now, y'all. So if I see distracted, that's the only reason. Um, I want to show you how we get to where we are. Okay. Um, They tell me dead air is bad air, but I'm trying to read and get to the page that I'm looking for. I had all of this pulled up, so y'all forgive me. Bear with me for just 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right. Um, so, oh, good evening. Good evening, Jay Reagan. It's good to see you. So, what it actually says in our book is that the chairman of the General Assembly is to be elected from the council of pastors and elders. Um, that's why I said no to the question of can a woman run? No, not in general. I guess I mean, you could change the Constitution um, to say so. Um, but until that time, I would have to say the answer to that would be no. Um, and so I'm not even really sure how we got to, um, I'm not really sure how we got to the place of having bishops as chairman. Um, not really sure how that ultimately ended up happening. Perhaps somebody will know the answer to that in a much more um, definitive way than I do, but I don't know how we got to that in the first place. Um, but that's where we are. But in general, to run for chairman, you must be an elder in the church in good standing. Um, how was the service? Is the case even done? It is not. And it's not for a reason because what we have before the court is a request of what is called performance. It was not a request for money, even though the General Counsel said that. We've never sued for money, we sued for performance on the grounds of a failure to fulfill fiduciary duties and responsibilities. It's a very corporate legal position that dealt with a breach of contract. And so the court found that that did indeed happen. There was no argument about the facts. The court suggested or tried to facilitate a settlement of payment because the court felt as though they did not have the legal right to order a new election. And so what they did instead said, well, we can't order a new election because it would violate the ecclesiastical abstention doctrine set forth by the Supreme Court that does not allow courts to interfere with internal religious denomination governance. So literally, courts can't get in. Y'all fighting over who the pastor is. Court can't decide that, for instance. And so, because this was an internal election, they could not interfere with that. Um, and because it had already taken place, that would have been the only remedy in order for them to order them to perform, unless I was willing to pause, which is what I did until now. And so now that the election is yet coming back up, the court could now rule that they must perform and do what they did not do. So that's another option that we have sitting before us. And so that's where we are. We'll make a decision in the next 12 hours, one way or the other. And we'll let you know what we ultimately decide. Would you be so kind as to pray for us as we make see what God has for us to do in the life of the church? I am not. I'm not going to cry one way or the other. Serving is an honor, and if you ever forget that that's the role, then you are already in trouble. If you don't know the purpose of wanting to run and be in position, if it's not to serve, then you are doing it for the absolute wrong reason, and I don't want to do that. All right. Okay. Now let's get moved on. I'm talk about Bishop Sample and kind of what is going on with that um, entire situation. It's a interesting situation. So Bishop Sample, as you all know, put in to resign um, from his jurisdiction. Um, Jayla, you're absolutely correct. It is what people don't realize about this situation is um, you have to be afraid when you don't know your power. The Constitution of the Church of God of Christ is the balancing um, stick to everything within our church. The General Assembly is the ultimate, our Constitution says, is the supreme legislative and judicial body of the church. Everything else is created off of it. Everything else is created to serve. The purpose of the General Assembly is to represent the entire body of members. And that's why you're supposed to have jurisdictional assemblies who then everything that's done in the General Assembly, the reason that you're supposed to get these reports before the General Assembly even happens is because those reports are supposed to be sent to every jurisdictional secretary. And in those jurisdictional assemblies, the people get to see what's happening in the national church. And then they elect delegates, much like we do for the election of a president in the United States. The election of a president in the United States is we all go to vote, but then what happens is every state has a number of delegates. And based on how the population voted, then those delegates go and vote for those things from that state. That's literally how our jurisdictional assemblies are supposed to function. From the aspect of the reports go to the people, and those jurisdictional secretaries read those out to the jurisdictional assemblies, which is all of the people in any given jurisdiction. Those jurisdictional assemblies elect delegates. They elect delegates. It's not every elder, every pastor. It's not. I know people think that. It's not. Um, Absolutely, it's their right to know the church constitution. They should know these things. It's not every pastor and elder. It's the elected delegates. And so the permanent delegates that are automatically delegates from a jurisdiction would be the jurisdictional bishop, jurisdictional supervisor, right? So that would be, and then of course the general board. So that's the ABC group. A, general board members, B, jurisdictional bishops, C, jurisdictional supervisors. Everything D and below is elected by the jurisdictional assembly. And so they elect who goes and then represents what they voted on in the jurisdictional assembly. Okay. That's how we're supposed to operate. But when you have leadership that, number one, doesn't care what you think or how you feel, then you have things that have been happening the past several years, which is you don't know the agenda till you get there, you don't see the report until it's given, you're forced to respond to it immediately. Um, yeah, these just absolutely, Jalen. That is literally what is happening. They are making every elder, every pastor delegates. That was never the intent. It is not. It is literally not how we operate. And the unfortunate part about it is that's exactly what we've been doing. And so as a result, then it becomes a game. Okay. It becomes a game, and then everybody plays the game to get into the game. Okay. Um, Therein lies the problem, and I'm going to show y'all why they do that. Let me pull this up because I want to show you why they think that that's what it is, and I'm going to show you why it's not what it is. Okay, so let's go to it. Let's hop to it. Let's see what the book actually says. 'Cause I want y'all to see this. Can y'all see that? Okay, this is the membership, right, of the General Assembly. The following qualify as delegates to the General Assembly. And y'all see there it says members of the General Board, jurisdictional bishops, jurisdictional supervisors of women's work, pastors of local churches and ordained elders, and 2 district missionaries and 1 lay delegate from each jurisdictional assembly, and such foreign delegates as may be determined by the General Assembly in session. So foreign delegates are decided on at the time. Um, Brother Banks was he kept breaking news that Dr. Byron Williams is instituting the International Department of Music prayer call starting on Monday. Y'all go over there and help and pray. Much prayer, much power. Come on. Wrong, Governor. I'm not with you tonight. I'm not. Y'all got me already laughing. So here's the thing, right? So Jalen, because of that, people believe that that means all pastors and all elders are delegates because that's what it says in that section. But then you have to get down to the section 2, which is the election and certification of delegates, right? So section A, delegates to the General Assembly except those designated in Section B, subsection 1, subdivisions A, B, and C shall be elected by the assemblies of their respective ecclesiastical jurisdictions. So that means everybody who is not in subdivision A, B, and C shall be elected by the assemblies of their respective ecclesiastical jurisdictions. Okay? B, all delegates, this is subsection B, all delegates to the General Assembly except those designated in Section B, subsection 1, subdivisions A, B, and C shall be certified by their respective jurisdictional assemblies, and the secretaries thereof shall issue to them certificates of election, and the secretary of each jurisdictional assembly shall send to the general secretary a list of certified delegates, which list shall be registered by the general secretary, who shall then issue to the delegates certificates of registration. Now we get into it. C, delegates qualifying under Section B, subsection 1, subdivision A, B, and C shall be issued certificates of registration by the General Secretary after he has verified their respective offices. So let's go up now back and see what this membership really was talking about. So subsection A, members of the General Board. Subsection B, jurisdictional bishops. Subsection C, jurisdictional supervisors of women's work. That is what they are talking about. So all of those people are certified and automatically in. Everyone else, pastors and elders qualify as members, but not as delegates. Okay? Qualify as members, not as delegates. Just like we are all citizens of the United States, but we're not all delegates who do that. Okay. I think when it comes to Dr. Finney, I think General Assembly is the only place for recompense for her. Unfortunately, just because Dr. Williams is not a member of the church. That just is what it is. He's not a member. There's not a pastor she can go to. There's not a bishop that he's up under. He's not a part of any jurisdictional music department. He is. So who do you go to deal with these? You can't. He's not subject to the pastors and elders council. He's not subject to a jurisdictional pastors and elders council. And being a national officer, again, that would then go to the chairman of the General Assembly, and who is the head of that investigative committee. But that's going absolutely nowhere. So. That is why we have a requirement in our Constitution that everybody that is at any level of the church, even when you go on trial in the church, you can have a lawyer who is not a part of the Church of God in Christ, but he can't talk. You have to have a representative who is a member in good standing in the church to represent you, even if you are on trial in the pastors and elders or board of bishops or whatever. Everyone that operates in this church is supposed to be a member in good standing of it. But anyway, we won't get on that. Yeah, she can't go to the presiding bishop. He was appointed by him. What are you going to do about that? The fact of the matter is he does know. He's just not doing anything about it. Serious question. Is there a paid parliamentarian or constitutionalist on staff? There is an elected parliamentarian. I don't know who that is, though. I think it would help to have, I mean, that's what the parliamentarian's supposed to do. But again, if the parliamentarian, and I don't know, I don't know if the parliamentarian was elected this past time or not. I don't know when the last time we elected a parliamentarian. Although the parliamentarian is supposed to be elected, I think they've been appointing, and if that's the case, then you can't trust that either. Um, we do have a judicial board. So here's the thing: the Judiciary Board was created in 1990, and it was created to what the Judiciary Board actually functions as is if you were looking in United States prudence jurisprudence, right? It would be the equivalent to the Federal Court of Appeals, right? Uh, because that did not change the Constitution that leaves the General Assembly as the supreme judicial body. It's the place that if you don't like what happened, that's the ultimate body that you go to. And so, for instance, if a member of the Board of Bishops is found guilty of something, he can appeal that to the Judiciary Board. But if he doesn't like that, he can appeal that to the General Assembly. As our Constitution states, the General Assembly is the final destination. All decisions of the General Assembly are final. So when if y'all remember the Pastor Watts Bishop Green thing, and that got to the General Assembly, then what that was, what the decision of the General Assembly to not only dismiss Pastor Watts' request to leave the church, but also restore the church to full function, allowing him to then transfer to another jurisdiction. That was a final decision. Why Bishop Green is still in court, don't know. Would love for somebody to ask the chairman of the General Assembly why he's allowing it, but again, that's where that is. Okay, Pastor Slack is the parliamentarian. Thank you so much, Sister Turner. Pastor Slack is the parliamentarian. Yeah, so that's, but here's the thing, right? If you don't know Robert Rules of Order, if you don't know parliamentary order, you don't know when to stand and ask the parliamentarian a question, right? So, for instance, we played the video from Administrative Assistant Robert Nichols last week, right? He was asking really what was a constitutional parliamentarian question, but that's when Bishop Sheard and Bishop Bryan got up and did what they did. But the question on the floor was about voting and about the function within a jurisdictional assembly and the polling of pastors. So that literally was a constitutional parliamentary question. But again, y'all saw how it played out. Again, when you don't have a chairman sitting in the seat, I remember the last in 2022 when we were undertaking, there was a question that went to Bishop Thurston as to whether or not he had any training within parliamentary rules or Robert Rules of Order, and he said, no, the Holy Ghost knows. And that was his answer. So when you don't, there you go, Banks, there you go. Eric Mays, God rest his soul. He was a funny guy too. But yeah, it's the point of order, and then who are you pointing that to? Um, that was not Bishop Ellis the last elder to serve as chairman of the General Assembly and was made bishop during it. Most of the chairmen have been made bishop during their tenure. Bishop Hunt, he was made a bishop post his death, but he was elected as an elder. Willis Ellis was elected as an elder. A lot of them were. I don't even remember if Bishop Willis was a bishop already. I know Chell Patterson Jr. was. Um, I know he was. Uh, yeah, he said the Holy Ghost knows. That was his answer. That was his answer to a woman who asked the question of him in one of his tour. He was in New Jersey and doing that tour thing because he didn't want to debate, and and he said the Holy Ghost knows. And she wanted to know whether or not he had any experience or had it gotten any training whatsoever in how to run an assembly, and his answer was no. He's just been going based on what he knows. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, it is what that's where we are, y'all. Okay, Bishop Willis was already a bishop. Okay, thank you. I knew McQuarrie would know the answer. Thank you, sir. I didn't know. I'm only 50. So I didn't know, but I wondered if he was. But I do know we've had elders and we've had bishops both be chairmen. Um, the problem is when they originally done it, the issue was that the conflict of interest, the fear of because if you are a member of the board of bishops who must then answer to the General Assembly, therein lies conflicts of interest. And so, and I still think it's a conflict of interest. I've said that on this platform. I think to be a member of the College of Bishops and to be the chairman of the General Assembly is a conflict of interest. That's my opinion of it because you have to be an independent, really an independent arbiter within the church. The chairman is a unique position, and I think when you get compromised, it compromises everything else. It is. It is. It does, Dr. Vaughn. It does weaken people because even the late Bishop Hunt started doing things differently. He allowed for this foolishness of vote by abstention, but he also wanted to be a bishop. And so many people, because he felt like he wasn't getting the respect, is what he said. Because he wasn't a bishop, that the bishops were not respecting him, but they did not understand who the chairman of the General Assembly and what that actually means. Um, Absolutely. I mean, so when McQuarrie says this about Bishop Willis, the reality of it is a good chairman is not enemies with the presiding bishop. He's the checks and balances that curtails. It's kind of like being the Senate Majority Leader. If you're Mitch McConnell, but Barack Obama is the president, you keep a checks and balances because the, whatever the presiding bishop wants, presiding bishops come in with this wish list of stuff they want to see done. The problem is that it all must be approved by the General Assembly. And if the General Assembly doesn't know what's in those reports and they don't know what you're trying to do and they just rubber stamp it, that gets done. Yeah, that was Bishop Hunt's fault. I had a direct conversation with him about that. I really felt that strongly. But that, and see, therein lies the problem. When your ambition is beyond that and you don't realize that if the General Assembly does not approve a general board report, doesn't approve a budget, then the answer is no, it doesn't get done. And so, and Bishop Williams, that's absolutely. So we had a leaking faucet, and he was right, and it hasn't stopped leaking because the reality of it, where there is no checks and balances, there is no. How should I say this? There is no balance for anybody. Look at the way our government is running right now with the Republicans, no check, no balance, and you got Republicans in leadership, and this ain't got nothing to do with Republicans, Democrat. But when Congress don't do their job, then the president can do whatever he wants to do. And then who is protecting the people? When you don't understand that that's what that's about. The Board of Bishops is a tribunal, but it's also like a union, right? It's also so that the bishops can issue their own resolutions. They can submit their own amendments that protects and strengthens them. Pastors and elders counsel the exact same way. The reality of it is the pastors and elders council and the board of bishops, they're supposed to have a joint meeting. If you look at our book, it's not really a pastors and elders council meeting and a board of bishops meeting. It's really supposed to be a joint meeting where the chairman of the board of bishops is the chairman and the chairman of the pastors and elders council is the vice chairman, because they're supposed to have their own. That meeting is supposed to be designed to help to where the pastors, elders, bishops can all come together and look at crafting and doing legislation and figuring out how to strengthen jurisdictions. But again, when you got a chairman that don't know it, I don't know if he knows it or doesn't care about it, then this is what you end up with. Yeah, here's the thing: you can't vote on a presiding bishop without General Assembly. It's not possible. But here's why that vote by abstention can never happen. So that was created by the Catholic Church, right, in the 14th, 15th century, and even they got rid of that. Because here's why: a vote by abstention means that the board chose its own leader. Think about what I just said. When they say, I move that we keep Bishop Blake another 4 years, I second it. Everybody in favor say aye. That's a vote by abstention. That means that the people who are sitting there decided that they didn't want to run, they're going to just let him have it. That is not the way our church operates. It has zero constitutionality to it. None. Because our Constitution specifically says there's 3 things the General Assembly can never do: change our doctrine, but number 2, get rid of our representative form of government. In other words, it always has to be voted on. Our leadership must be voted on. It's in the Constitution. Any sway from that is a violation. It is not a thing. Vote by abstention simply means that everyone else decided we're going to let him stay. But the problem is they don't have the power to do it. The general board cannot choose its own leader. You got to remember the presiding bishop presides over the general board. Did anyone ever challenge Shale Singer? I think he probably has some challenges. But, again, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Again, here's the problem. Jalen, there is no challenge. There's not a run really for the presiding bishop. We believe that in our church, it doesn't exist. What our Constitution says is that we choose from those jurisdictional bishops 12. Right? That's the 12 highest vote getters. Then from those 12, we select or elect one to preside over the board. That's what the wording is. So everyone on the general board is supposed to be qualified to be the presiding bishop. And the only question is, whose vision do we like best? That's the only question. But because it's never explained like that, then people think that people have to run for presiding bishop. No one should ever be running for presiding bishop. Everyone running for the general board ought to have a vision for the church. That's why putting people on general board say, I just want to be on there so I can support the vision of the presiding bishop. Well, who's the presiding bishop? Because that presumes you know who it is. No one should ever run to simply support the presiding bishop, because that is to assume that he will always be there. Now, what they ought to be saying is, if elected and not elected as presiding bishop, I'll support whoever the presiding bishop is. But we, the people, choose the presiding bishop. Out of the 12 people we choose for the general board, everybody on the general board is eligible. There's no running. Now, those who may want to be can campaign to say, if elected to the general board, I would like for you to consider me for your presiding bishop. That's a different statement. Y'all catching what I'm saying? There is no, that's why this is such a problem, because they can't decide to keep Bishop Sheard. They couldn't decide to keep Bishop Blake. They did it, but they did it because you had a chairman in the seat who allowed it. Yeah, I mean, the last election you didn't have, but you had 15 people running for 12 seats. Somebody's gonna get on there that people didn't think was qualified, no matter what. It was really not a question. It was really not a question. Absolutely, Jay Reagan's. Never should there be flunkies. That is my problem. Is when it seems like when it seems as though you're on that board just to be on that board. But here is my problem. It is the board is the first check on the presiding bishop. The book is clear, the Constitution is clear, that everything that the presiding bishop does must be approved by a majority. That means you got to have 7 other people on that board that agree with him. Therein lies the problem. When that balance ain't put in place, and then you got a chairman who want to be best friends, we got a problem. Thank you, Dr. Vaughn. I appreciate that, man. I don't have all the answers, but I do know what's in these books. I do know what's in all of these books. And here's the thing. Somebody was asking me, well, where's all the Constitution at? Well, the problem is it's in all the books. Because here's what happens. So you've got the red book, you've got the blue book, you've got the black book, you've got the green and white book, you've got the green and black book, you've got the JR DC book, you've got the Board of Bishops book, the Women's Department book, you've got the laity book, lay members book, you've got the pastor's book, elder. So and then all of those you have to check against constitutionality. And some things that were made amendments did not take away other things. That they didn't replace. They only dealt with certain sections every time we have new amendments. Okay. That Bishop Mann only vote was a no. Houston has a book. He's got a book. I've read it. God bless him. Again, a lot of stuff is folktale in this church, right? It's just stories handed down. But it's pretty easy if you open up all the books and you read them and you know what's in each book. So sometimes y'all hear me talking about stuff, but it's in a whole other book other than what I'm looking at that moment. They got a Clark book. We got a book for everything, y'all. We got a book for everything. I promise you we got a book. I'm going to show y'all in just a second when I start talking about Bishop Sample. We got a book for everything. Everything. But do they know what's in those books? That's a great question. Absolutely not. So, like I said, that goes back to Jayla, what you were talking about in terms of who can be delegates. All pastors and elders, absolutely not. They're not supposed to be. The honest to goodness truth of it is, we should never have more than 2,000 or 3,000 delegates at any given moment. at any General Assembly. And the reason virtual doesn't work is because the book requires that the jurisdictional assemblies elect people that they send to the General Assembly. The Holy Ghost knows. That's why they don't know. They wait on the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost knows. So let's get to Bishop Sample. So you all know Bishop Sample. Bishop Sample had resigned, asked to be emeritized, did not like what was happening, and so he has submitted a letter to Bishop Sheard and the General Board. I'm going to share that with you tonight. Y'all ready? I'm going to share it with you. Yeah, resign. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this is dated, as you can see, September the 6th, 2025. Rescinding the emeritization process and continuing service. So he has sent a letter that basically says, I want to stay the bishop and continue being the bishop and forget what it is that I said. Just forget about all that. Right? Let's read it. Dear Bishop J. Drew Sheard and General Board, this letter serves as my official notice to rescind the process of emeritization from my position as jurisdictional bishop of Texas North Central Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction. Although neither I nor my family have ever submitted an official request for emeritization, Bishop Sheard initiated the process based on a conversation that he and I had less than 3 months after I lost my wife of 63 years. Let's pause for a second. Let's pause, because there's a concern already. It starts off with an official notice to rescind, and then says I never submitted an official request in the first place. Jalen, you just got out of time out here on his way back. I was grieving heavily at the time, and I was speaking to him from an extremely emotional state of mind. This situation has led to significant confusion and distress among members due to presiding Bishop J. Drew Sheard's unlawful involvement in the affairs of my local church, Holy Tabernacle Church of God in Christ, which also functions as the state headquarters of our jurisdiction. Impact on church and jurisdiction. As a result, many members are experiencing chaos and uncertainty. I'm receiving numerous calls from pastors, elders, and members both within the jurisdiction and beyond, seeking answers and expressing concerns. At the direction of Bishop Sheard, the locks to my church and office doors have been changed, and I have been denied access to my office by his instruction to Holy Tabernacle Management. After more than 55 years of devoted service to this church, I am deeply disheartened by the level of dishonor, disrespect, and disregard I'm currently experiencing. Until these matters are resolved within the church and the jurisdiction, I will continue in my role as jurisdictional bishop of Texas North Central Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction as affirmed. Okay. This is the time when I would be looking for Gail to say something. Y'all, look, the Lord heard my prayer.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone, to all our viewers. Um, I
I'm gonna
think
deal with it, Gil, but give me a second. You just give me a second. Let me just give me a second. Please go ahead.
um, whew. Well, we say hello to everyone. Um, excuse the noise in the background. I do have someone else in the room with me.
That's
Um,
one of our original co-hosts, Mr. Man Man. Been with the show since the beginning. We love him.
he has been with us the full 8 years of this show.
It makes an appearance from time to time. We thank him for lightening up the mood, man. Gail, what say you about this letter? This is your first time hearing it.
Because I have a personal connection with it, I'm trying to be calm and I'm trying to be reasonable about it.
You are a sample.
Oh, they're not supposed to know that, Bishop.
I didn't,
Nobody knows what my last name is.
I didn't tell them what your last name was. I just said you're a sample. You're in the sample family.
I am my father's child.
You are.
Um, I really think that the presiding bishop and those that are in charge that received the first letter, I think they should rethink this and look at it again and have some sort of empathy about it. Again, you just mentioned that his wife had just died. So we know in that detail, he is grieving of someone that he has spent a lot of years of his life with this individual. And so when you're thinking, um, I don't know if he was under stress or anything, but when someone is grieving, you can hear things and you can say things. And a lot of times we agree to just go ahead and do whatever is necessary at that moment because your emotions are like jello. Okay. A bowl of jello, when you shake it, it just moves any kind of way. And so your grieving um, emotions are just like that. That's within my opinion. So I think that the presiding bishop should at least look at it again and reconsider and really take in detail to do what is necessary for the work of Bishop Sample and the people of the church and people within the jurisdiction. Now, I think what's more important, I think his work of his church that he organized and started. I'm not sure about the jurisdiction, but I know the work that he has done with his church that he has built and build up that ministry. I think they should try to have a heart and look at this again and consider the things that were before him. He may not have been in his best frame of mind at that moment. I mean, people change their minds all the time. The presiding bishop changes his mind all the time, just about. I mean, he's much younger. Okay, we have to look at the age, we have to look at the work, and we have to look what's best for the church. If he's still able to serve, let him still serve as pastor. I mean, he just probably made a wrong decision at a crucial time in his life of loss. Okay, so um, you know, it's really a shame that they don't have a heart on this and just going along with the motions, and that's not fair. That's not fair to this man that has served this church and in the city of Dallas. Okay, back to you, Bishop.
You are absolutely correct. Um, Absolutely correct. And I'm going to show you, Gil.
And Bishop, I wasn't just saying that because he is within my family tree.
Right.
I'm just saying that for any bishop that has worked and built a ministry from nothing into what it is now. And we do understand that there's a lot of money that's tied into that. I think I was with another um, blogger the other night, and he was saying that the property value of Bishop Sample was over $10 million. I don't
It's a
know if
lot of
that's
money. I know that it's a lot of money. It may be that much. Would not be surprised if it were not close to that. There's another property, approximately that same size, that maybe about 2 or 3 miles from his. That I think is on the market for about 5 million right now in Fort Worth. So it's certainly somewhere between 5 and 10 million for sure. Let me show you this because I heard you, Gail, talk about the heart, and make sure you put our disclaimer up there. Um, uh, but I want to share this because it's absolutely imperative to what I'm getting ready to say.
He thought of things that the rest of us didn't think of. And he would bring those things to us and then bow out like they were our idea. That's the kind of leader this man was. Well, Bishop Mark Gilkey had expressed to me his desire and a plan of succession. I loved him so much until I wouldn't observe it. A few months ago, he articulated again to his beloved wife, and she called me and told me what his plan was. And I said, no. I said, let's wait, because I was hoping and praying that he would live. Ain't no harm in that, is it? I wanted him to live. And so I did not observe his plan of succession. So knowing that he had a plan of succession and he's been down for so long, I felt it was only right for me to do what I promised my brother I would do.
Now, Gail, I'm confused. I'm confused. Um, this was just a couple of weeks ago. Presiding Bishop has me, you got me confused because a couple of weeks ago, you talked about Bishop Mark Gilkey. I was there in person to celebrate someone who was very supportive and kind to me. Um, but you said that not only did he tell you his succession plan once, but you were told it twice. And because you knew that he was in an emotional state, that you did not grant his succession plan because you were hoping that he would recover and that he would come back, and and so you refused to accept his request because you knew he was in an emotional state because of what he was going through. But then once he passed, you said, but I'm going to honor his succession plan and his request that my brother personally made to me. Now, I got an issue because Bishop Sample made a personal request to you. It's on tape. A personal, direct request to you. And you say to Bishop Sample, Bishop, I'm going to do what you asked me to do. And whatever I do, if you don't like what we do, you can always veto it. The selective honoring of succession plans seems to be a problem. Now, it just so happened that Bishop Gilkey's succession plan, Sister Gail, was that he would make Bishop Chris Martin, one of the presiding bishop's best friends, would make his son the pastor of the church, who had married Bishop Gilkey's daughter, Cam. And the person that Bishop Sample is requesting to make pastor, I'm getting ready to show y'all this. Let me pull it up. Because, see, you got to put these things in context of what you're actually saying and then what you're doing versus what you're saying. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's add that back to the stage. And so he says, I hold the legal positions of pastor, CEO, president of Holy Tabernacle Church of God in Christ. This will remain in effect until I officially appoint my successor, Pastor Seth Cunningham, whom I have previously identified in the notarized letter dated January 7, 2025, sent to presiding Bishop Sheard and the General Board. Regrettably, Bishop Sheard has chosen to disregard my appointment letter. Jasmine, you're right, but I gotta deal with what is the constitutional issue here. Okay. Now I'm told, Gail, that this is the son-in-law of Bishop Macklin. I'm told that's who this is. I don't know him. That's just what I was told. That Seth Cunningham is Bishop Macklin's son-in-law. Which is odd to me again as to why we're having an issue here. So he ends it by saying, thank you for your ongoing prayers and support as I strive to guide my church and jurisdiction through these challenging circumstances. Your encouragement is deeply appreciated as I work to achieve peace and resolution for our community. Sincerely, Bishop Robert Sample, witnessed by, I believe that's his daughter. Okay, thank you. Jalen is as confirmed that Seth is indeed, that the word on the street to me was good, that is indeed Bishop Macklin's daughter's husband. Okay, and so it just gets more interesting and interesting. So let's deal with in 2012, there were a couple of things that were passed by the General Assembly of the Church of God in Christ. One was an amendment, one I believe was a resolution. The amendment was the ascension clause, because prior to 2012, in the event that the presiding bishop died, then there had to be an election to get a new presiding bishop. We did not have an ascension clause. Um, I'm told that the people did not want Seth as well. I was told that, Dr. Vaughn, you are correct. Um, and that they did want the person who Bishop, all fairness, I'm gonna be fair. Y'all know I'm always be fair. Sister Gabriella says we the members are not in chaos. Okay, all right. We got some members. We got some Holy Tabernacle members in. Y'all are not in chaos. I'm just reading a letter. Y'all don't kill me tonight, please, please, please. Go easy on the brother. I promise you. Y'all let me work. I'm gonna work. I promise. Um, so in 2012, we create the Ascension Clause, which essentially says that now it says that if it was an amendment that was passed to our Constitution that allowed now, if the presiding bishop dies or is removed while in office, the first administrative becomes the presiding bishop until and serves out the remainder of the term. For instance, in reality, when Bishop Blake retired and emeritized, that November, Bishop Macklin should have been the presiding bishop and should have served as presiding bishop until such time as the election was held because the term had not ended because of COVID. Y'all remember that? But that Bishop Blake said, I'm just going to serve until y'all find somebody new. That was in violation of the Ascension Clause that was already put into place. It is, now we move forward to the next thing that was done in 2012. So yes, Bishop Macklin was, he should have been presiding bishop, at least for a short period of time. Anyway, but there was another thing that we did. And the other thing that we did was we passed the, what is called the Emeritus Status Protocol. Okay. And I'm going to share that with you. This is the Emeritus Status Protocol. Most of you probably have never seen this document ever in your entire life. You see it was done in 2012. You probably have never seen this document, even as a member of this church. Okay? But it's the Church of God of Christ Episcopal Emeritus Protocol and Dignity Provision that was added to us. You see, Bishop Charles Blake, presided bishop, the Holy Writ mandates religious leaders to advance our earthly mission through powerful and relevant initiatives that are divinely instructed, prophetically inspired, spiritually infused. This biblical interpretation commissioned our denomination to establish an effective intergenerational protocol for transition that ensures perpetual foundational tenets in polity. Our COGIC patriarch and matriarchs inculcated and imparted the denomination's articles of faith and rich heritage to their proteges with profound religious interpolation and diverse published communications. The dignity of their sacred office and the episcopal mandate to honor their unfeigned stewardship to our denomination affords us the privilege to perpetually celebrate their labor with double honor, while encircling gratuitous benefits for the remainder of their earthly pilgrimage. So what that means is that they have the honor of the title of Emeritus Bishop and that they are to get paid until the day they die, is what that ultimately means. Moreover, we are commissioned and taken care of with additional benefits, right? Moreover, we are commissioned to encapsulate their era of stellar leadership certify vintage archives, and ensure an ongoing appreciation for their historic accomplishments through educational awareness, theological presentation, economic consideration, memorabilia preservation, and oral demonstration that celebrates an intergenerational appreciation for their sanctified presence in our Pentecostal witness. So here's the protocol for consideration and determination. The consideration of emeritus status for a Church of God in Christ credential holder may be initiated, check this, may be initiated at the request of the individual, a family member, or individual with power of attorney, the local congregation, pastors within the jurisdiction, or an act of the presiding bishop approved by the general board, or a resolution from the General Assembly. Okay, so that's how it is initiated. The written petition must delineate the basis for the request and demonstrate the benefit for the candidate and those impacted. So there has to be a written petition, whether it be whether the presiding bishop is deciding to do this in the general board, or whether or not it's initiated by the bishop himself and says, I just want to do this. It has to have the basis for this request. And then what is the benefits to the person and the jurisdiction and the church and all that are impacted. This distinction and honor should only be petitioned for leaders whose stewardship merits such recognition. So it's not every bishop that retires and or resigns. It's only a status for bishops who have accomplished something spectacular within their jurisdiction, and so their jurisdiction is not only able to do this, can afford to do this, but wants to do this. Okay? A written ministry vita that emblocks honor and esteem should be submitted prior to the scribing of the episcopal edict. This request should not be used as a methodology for impeachment or a perfidy for disgruntled subordinates. Let me read that one more time. This request should not be used as a methodology for impeachment or a perfidy for disgruntled subordinates. All right, Jordan, what in the world does that mean? It means that emeritus status, or this process, cannot be used to just remove a bishop that you don't have any grounds to remove. It can't be for the purpose of impeachment, because that has to go through a trial, and you don't want to go through the trial. So you say, "Oh, we're going to honor you and emeritize you," but there's no justification for it. Perfidy, meaning deceitfulness by pastors within the jurisdiction. So the request should not be used as a methodology for impeachment or for removal by pastors who want him gone. Therein lies the problem. Okay, so Gabriella says that that Bishop Sample told the church that the Lord told him Perry Williams. And so the church voted unanimously about Pastor Perry Williams. Now, here's what I do know, Sister Gabriella. The night that Bishop McClelland came in to do what he did, Bishop Sample had a letter. I'm aware of the contents of that letter. And in that letter, he did not have Pastor Williams' name in that letter. And I think that that's what he's talking about in the sense of saying he named someone else. I think that's what they're talking about. So I think, and now again, I don't know. I know what I do know, and some stuff when I say I don't know, it's not because I don't know. It's just because it doesn't always, everything don't make this platform because we don't get into personal and that kind of thing. But I do know that that was a different name in that letter. And my understanding is that is why Bishop McClelland stopped him from reading the name. If y'all remember, he got up to read the letter. And so they stopped him before he was able to name the name. And that was part of the reason for that, because there was something different in that than, here's the thing, and I think I said this on the last show. This has been actually a rather long process for Bishop Sample. This didn't just start. Most people are just hearing about this, but my understanding is that this may have been a 5 or 8 year process that Bishop Sample had been thinking about stepping down for a number of reasons over a period of time. I do know at one point he was battling, some sort of sickness or whatever. Then his wife got sick, and so it's a lot of things that's been happening over the years with Bishop Sample. That my understanding is I actually thought Bishop Sample was going to step down some years ago because that was, Texas is not as big as y'all think it is. It's not that big, especially in this church. Right, exactly. So it's I don't listen, y'all. Let me get to the constitutionality, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. I think because there are people who say, well, why am I not pushing for Bishop Sample? I'll tell you why. I heard he had a good church. I did hear that, Jay. I don't know if he does or not. I'm not familiar with his church, but I did hear that. So let me get through the rest of how our church operates, right? Okay, so it can be used for impeachment. It can be used just because people, are disgruntled and they use it to get rid of a leader. Additionally, only active denominational leaders in good standing, officers elected by the General Assembly, or jurisdictional bishop and or supervisor may request, I believe that is, may request emeritization. I believe that's how that ends. Is how that passage ends. I got to go to the rest of it. So then there is a 4-step I don't know why Bishop Sample wants him to have it. That's just his letter, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just a letter that Bishop Sample put out on September the 6th or the 8th of this month. Okay. He put the letter out. I did not put the letter out. So now let me show you what is necessary for emeritization. Okay. I want to show you this. All right. All right. Can y'all see that, or you can't see it? Is that better?
Raise it one more font, a little higher.
Look at y'all hear Gail just coming in just all willy-nilly. Is that better? Okay. All right. That's good. All right. So the consideration of emeritus status for a Church of God in Christ credential holder may be initiated at the request of the individual family member. Y'all saw that already. Power of attorney resolution, General Assembly. The written petition must delineate the basis for the request and demonstrate the benefit for the candidate and those impacted. The distinction and honor should only be petitioned for leaders whose stewardship merits such recognition. Written ministry vita, which is a biography resume, y'all know that. Then an M block, which is as a whole. Request should not be used as a methodology for impeachment or perfidy, which is an act of treachery or disloyalty or deceitfulness for disgruntled pastors. In other words, just as a way for them to get rid of it. So what is the procedure and protocol? What are the steps? And can they be stopped? That's what I want to share with you tonight. So here's step number one. All requests are submitted to the General Secretary. He is required to forward the request to the following for consideration. So the bishop writes the request. He sends that to the General Secretary. The General Secretary sends that to the presiding bishop, the General Board, and the General Assembly, which means it should be on the agenda of the General Assembly before the General Assembly ever takes place. Number two, the presiding bishop shall present all requests. Now, notice that word is bolded, Gil. Shall. That means he does not have an option. One of my mentors, theological mentors, said the word shall is always loaded because there's not an option in it. So the presiding bishop shall present all requests to the General Board for dialogue and consideration. So the presiding bishop gets that petition, he takes it to the General Board for them to have a discussion. After the General Board approval, not the presiding bishop. The presiding bishop cannot decide this. So there's already a disconnect in what Bishop Sample is being told, because the presiding bishop cannot decide this. After the General Board approval of a national officer status reclassification, the General Board, assisted by the General Secretary, shall, there's that word again, prepare the resolution for emeritus consideration, hear it again, consideration to the General Assembly. So now the General Board writes something and the General Secretary submits it as a resolution to the General Assembly. What happens is that resolution is then read to the General Assembly, and the General Assembly will vote on it. They will say yes or no. Upon adoption of said resolution, immediate reclassification with all honors and stipulations shall be conferred by the presiding bishop and General Board. Watch this. After all steps have been completed, only, that's the important word, only after all steps have been completed is the emeritization process complete. So as we sit here, Bishop Sample is not the Bishop Emeritus for his jurisdiction. That's why I come and show y'all what's written in our church. Because a lot of times we go off of what's being said and not what is actually written. I don't know if this has anything to do with that. I don't know if it's about, I don't think it's about fixed votes. I think, here is my problem. So Jalen says, so Sample just needs to withdraw his request to the chairman. It never hits the floor. He is still bishop. This is better than the young and the restless. So here's the complication, Jalen, because emeritus status and retirement status ain't the same thing. And the question is going to be, how is it interpreted? So this is what would be considered a case of first impressions. That's a legal term, right? It's a legal term, meaning that this ain't never happened before. Okay, and so this would certainly fall up under that, because it's a specific issue that's never been dealt with before by the General Assembly. Certainly it has never made it to the Judiciary Board. And I think it's important that every bishop in the Church of God in Christ, some 500 of you, ought to be really paying attention to this case. I don't want to put my thumb on the scale of anything, but I do have to say this. As much as I read to you that it could not be used as a methodology for impeaching or for perfidy, I got a problem if Bishop Sample's only reason for wanting to withdraw is because you don't like the outcome. Because I don't know that we want to set that, Gail. I need you to come back and holler at me for 1 second. I don't know if we want to set that as a precedent either. Jalen is crazy. So here's the thing. Bishop Sample can retire. Bishop Sample can retire. Generally what happens though in that, so the difference between emeritization and retirement is in that situation, then there is a definite date set for that retirement, and then the successor is then put in place, retirement, right? Or elected. When Bishop Richardson in Texas, he started the jurisdiction, and then he decided he wanted to retire, and he did. But he kept his church. Notice he retired from jurisdiction, and they set a time and came in, and Bishop Fennell was then selected to be the next jurisdictional bishop, and Bishop Richardson remained the pastor of his church till the day he died. That happened right there in Houston, Texas. It's not unusual. If Bishop Sample wanted to retire from the work of the bishop, he had the right to do that.
Well, it looks like they would have gave him that option.
Well, it's not even a give. There's nothing you can do. You can't make him leave. You can't make him do it.
They could have talked to him about that. They could have talked to him and say, "Well, look."
But you couldn't make him leave his church. You couldn't make him give up his church. He could give up the jurisdiction without giving up the church. The problem is if he had done that, then it would have been for him to tell the next bishop who he wanted to succeed him, because it is the jurisdictional bishop who appoints the pastor. To be quite honest with you, and I'll tell you this, Gail, what I said to some administrative assistants I was on call with the other day, and I said to them, I said, here's the major problem, and I think it's a problem every bishop ought to be considerate of, and that is, I don't think any general board member ought to be appointing the pastor of a church in a jurisdiction. I don't think they ought to be recommending none of that, because the Constitution requires that says that is the exclusive right of the jurisdictional bishop to appoint the pastors within his jurisdiction, which would mean that no pastor should be appointed until a new bishop is put in. Now, I do know for a fact Bishop Blake operated like that, and every presiding bishop before the current operated like that.
Well, we see that he made sure um, things were in place at Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Immediate,
I mean, he waited too
immediate.
long. He waited a little too long for me. But at the end of the day, but Bishop Ely acknowledged and honored that. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference between what happened at West Angeles and what's happening here. Now, again, I don't know if Bishop Sample is feeling this way because, yeah, Ely was in play. I don't know if he's feeling this way because of what has happened there in the church and with Pastor Williams, and now maybe that's why he wants to name somebody. I don't know. This is just a little too convoluted for me. Even though it is a case of first impressions, I think it's interesting for the General Assembly to take up. I think they should take it up because I think there are a number of things that have to be dealt with here. One of those, Gail, has to be, can a bishop just decide to change his mind because he don't like who they put in place? Because that's a problem. That's a problem. Yes, he did appoint Ely also. He did. Um, but the presiding bishop appoints all jurisdictional bishops. But when he retired as presiding bishop, he did not make his son the pastor. Um, he didn't make him the senior pastor. But Bishop Ely did that. The truth is that there are too many of our fathers hold on to it. Dr. Vaughn, thank you for coming in the room. Oh my God. Listen, man, I just literally was talking to a superintendent earlier today, and I said those exact words. As the problem is when I'm looking at the Bishop Sample situation, and I named a number of people, right? But just using him because we're talking about him in this moment, I think way too many times in our church, and it does not happen in other folks' churches. That happen in nature, right? We hold on until the church, like you get in, you build up a great ministry, and then you stay until you kill it. Until you kill it, and it dies with you. And you know what? Not just Caucasian churches, because if you look at Fellowship Church, Bishop Dr. Clay Evans Church, again, they don't be waiting till somebody get up out of there to bring somebody in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just a way it. You don't find that in other denominations. You only find that in Pentecostal denominations because they don't have any retirement plans, they don't have no insurance plans, they don't have any 503Bs. They got nothing. And so they got to preach till they die because that's how they pay bills and buy groceries.
They just got the third Sunday, Pastoral Sunday.
There you go. There you go. This used to be a young bishop's church. You got to remember, Bishop Mason becomes the senior bishop at 41. Everybody, a driver in them were in their 20s. Guys were in their 20s and 30s. This was a young man's church. It's just that they all stayed, so they stayed just like Bishop Mason. He stayed out, he was almost 100 years old. I don't know why we don't have a retirement plan. I've been talking about that for 8 years. I have no idea. I don't know. They still operating on group life insurance, which has no living benefits to it. By the way, hit up our sponsor if you got a group life insurance plan. My God. If all your life insurance comes from your job, you're going to lose it if you get fired. Real talk. It has no living benefits to it whatsoever. So if you get cancer or something else happens, you can't even access the money. Did Dewey preach that? Okay. Banks say E. Smith just preached. We have the funeral and pull the baton out the casket for the next generation. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. Absolutely. Bishop Sample was absolutely well within his rights to do what he needed to do before he ever requested But he says he didn't. I don't. And again, I don't know. So there are members in here. Since Gabriella is in here, since Jasmine's here, there are members of that church that are in here. Listen, I don't know why Bishop Sample didn't do this. I honestly don't know, and I really like Bishop Sample. I told y'all that. I think he's got a long shot. Dewey can be voted out. That cannot happen. Okay, so Jasmine Parker says he did it with Pastor Williams. So I don't really. The more I learn, and I'm saying this as Jasmine is in here, the more I learn about this, the more confused I get, because as God is my witness, as somebody who is between DFW and Central Texas every week, if I tell y'all I'm so confused about what's going on in Fort Worth, I really don't know, because the majority of the members believe one thing. You got a whole other group saying, something. Listen, y'all. All I can say is that from a constitution, and that's why I'm only dealing with it. Y'all know this is always constitution. It's never personal. From a constitutional perspective, there's a couple of questions, though, that are interesting in this moment, in this time. Number one, can a bishop rescind his request to retire? I think if it has not gone through the process, protocol is yes, he can. And it clearly has not gone through the process. And so I think that makes for a very interesting question for the General Assembly this year. If the chairman will do his job and put it on the agenda, even though the word shall is in there twice, and you shall do it. Jalen say he is ready to mediate the entire situation right now. Dr. Moses Tyson, you and Bishop Sample, come on in. He gonna call Dickinson Wells and Bishop Sheard. We're gonna all get on the call tonight. We're gonna make it happen right here on the heat. Make it happen, Jalen. I'm all for it. You know I'm all for it. Now let me say this, because Jalen, I get questions all the time. Why don't you call so and so and so? Why you ain't listen? When you put it out there, I'm having a constitutional discussion. Now, if you want me to have a discussion with you, or you want to get your side, or you feel like I've said something, or you feel like I should be seeing something different, you are always welcome. Gail, give them the number. You are always welcome. You can call us, you can text us, you can email us and tell us you want to be on, you want to come holler at me, and you are always welcome to do that. We will give you the platform and the floor to make it happen. The number's right there, area code 210-960-6364. That's area code 210-960-6364. You can call, you can text. We do check the text messages. We do. I don't personally listen to your voicemails, but Sister Gail does. It tells me what they say. We do get your emails. So, St. James in the building. Good evening to you, sir. Always glad to have you in the building, man.
Actually, Bishop, we would like to say good evening to Sister Tina, Sister Patricia, Pastor Smith out of Mississippi. I'm trying to think of some others. But those of you that had got one-on-one contact with us, we bless you tonight. We give you hellos, and we give you special love. In Jesus' name, we love you and we appreciate you. And you can send us a text, or you can call that number, 210-960-6364. That number is always on. Sometimes. What is on? You can leave a message. You can send a text message, and someone from the office will give you a call. Will contact you. Give us a couple of days. Bishop is always traveling. I am always busy because he gives me things to do. So if you call that number of 210-960-6364, we will contact you. Back to you, Bishop.
Sister Jasmine, Sister Gabriella, Jalen has a question in the comments that wants to know, did you all as members want Bishop Sample gone? And I assume the follow-up to that is, if not, then why did he resign? I'm a little curious about that too. And Sister Jasmine, I may do that. Listen, me and Sister Gail will tell you, Dr. Tyson has all of my numbers, and he knows he's always welcome, always. We were supposed to bring him on. I don't generally make a lot of phone calls to people. Y'all show St. James some love. He is in the building. Y'all know we got famous people in here. Okay, Sister Parker says they love that Bishop Jalen, that this is not his fight. They believe something else is happening. I've heard that as well.
I think some time ago, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think some time ago when they developed that jurisdiction in Texas.
Hold on, Gail, before you finish that. St. James, I'm offended that you keep inviting Shouting Gail on your show and you had me on that one time. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. You know I love you. Okay, go ahead, Gail.
You know, jealousy is cruel.
It is. Jealousy is out of there, ain't it? Every time I look up, Gail is on somebody else's show. Y'all don't know that Gail is famous, y'all. Gail is on everybody's show. And I don't get no calls. I don't want anybody calling me. Nobody calling me.
We want to give a shout out also to Elder Sir William McCray III. We were with him not long ago, and he allowed us to be on his platform. We bless him also as well. But I think back when they developed that jurisdiction with Bishop Sample, I think during that time he was having some health challenges then, some years back. So, because that's when they also made Evangelist State Supervisor Janice Craig his supervisor. So I think this was
I think that was not too long after the jurisdiction was made. Bishop Sample, the fellowship was in place for a little while because he was a part of Texas Northwest under the late Bishop Bill Watson, and then under his son. And so that was those guys were in Fort Worth. West Texas is way far away. And Bishop Sample really probably could have been the Bishop of Texas Northwest, from what I'm hearing. But at any rate, Jasmine and Gabriella are both saying that this came out of the blue. That Bishop that they were completely blindsided. They said they haven't seen Bishop in months, and other than the Moses Tyson shakedown.
Often people talk about church hurt, and I really believe that leaders can be hurt as well. So he may be having a little some hurt by his colleagues, and that might be why he doesn't really want to say much of anything else.
I honestly believe that this has everything. Sometimes, and I know people want to. I think it's easy to say it's a million different things. I think the reality is that Bishop Sample is saying exactly what he means, and that is that he thought that the presiding bishop and the general board would take into consideration what he wanted and what he had to say. And when they didn't, it became a fight. I've said this a million times. Y'all will hear me say it probably a million more. Bad communication. We have a word for that in the courthouse. They call you litigants. Yeah, yeah. People who don't communicate, we call them litigants. Yeah, defendants, petitioners, litigants. That's what we call people who can't communicate in any way, shape, or form. Um, it is, um, to me, Jasmine say, call to see what you get. I don't know. It to me, this is if there's not much of a constitutional question, and I think there's a small constitutional question because the process is not finished. The 4-step process within our church is not finished. But again, you have to ask the question of when are you resigned? Because I mean, technically, Bishop has not been the bishop for some months now. And I don't know if he's saying they just came in and took over the jurisdiction and the church, and now he wants to undo it. That's a great question. I think it's an interesting argument, legal argument within the confines of the church. I think it's an interesting question. Hey, Gail, I think the General Assembly ought to take it up. Can the bishop, if he is in good health and he's not diagnosed with any sort of mental incapacitation, can he decide he doesn't want to retire before the process is over and therefore maintain his authority? I think that's a question.
And Bishop, this is another reason why, and hopefully some other people can agree, if you agree with what I'm saying, I can see the show of hands, that you should run for chairman in 2026. And I believe if you were chairman, the chairman of this church, you would allow people to have a voice and speak and give their say.
Well, I think, and I would, but here's the thing. From what I'm told, I think I was told by somebody that Pastor Williams has been to that church like 40 years or something like that. Like he's been there since Jesus was a baby. Am I missing something, or is that the truth? Y'all know, y'all are the members. Tell me, am I missing something? I'm told like Pastor Williams has been there for, he's been there a long time with Bishop Sample. Am I missing something? Thank you, Royal. I appreciate it, man. Am I missing something? Because I'm curious. I'm trying, Royal. I'm trying to educate you. I don't know what it's at. I'm just being honest with y'all. I can't find anybody who can tell me what happened. Because from what I'm told, it was overwhelming as to you all wanting Pastor Williams. I don't even know. Yeah. I'm. That's what I'm thinking. Thank you, Jasmine. That's what I'm thinking. I don't. Somebody doesn't want him. Somebody wants Seth to get this church. I don't know who does, and I don't know what has happened. From what I'm told, it was overwhelming by the people for Pastor Williams. That's why I say, Gail, I'm not here to say that Bishop Shear did anything wrong, other than okay, thank you, Gabrielle. Yeah, Pastor Williams been at the church 40 years. I was literally told that last night. I made a phone call in preparation for today, and the person I called said, "Man, he been there for 40 years. Like he been there since Jesus was a baby with Bishop Sample." And I'm like, Jasmine said she's 32. That's all she know is Bishop Sample and Pastor Williams. That's what I was told. That's what I was told. I'm honestly confused because like all of this was done. All of this was done, and then all of a sudden it became an issue. Not sure how it became an issue. But again, I do think I believe Pastor Williams loves Bishop Sam. I believe Pastor Williams made a mistake. And I'm going to say this, Gail, and I'm going to say it with my chest and my 10 toes down. Because I've seen pastors do this before. One of the things, and I want pastors to hear me, especially if you're trying to get an appointment to a church and you're not a founder of your church. One of the worst, I remember I used to tell pastors when they got appointed to a church in our jurisdiction, first thing I would tell them, don't go in there changing nothing. One of the worst things people do is go in and start making changes. And I think Pastor Williams, I know he was told to do certain things. I've had other pastors who were told to do certain things. Did y'all hear me say they're called litigants? Because every last one of them ended up in court. And it was just a perception of disrespect, or a perception that, especially when they're not on track with the bishop who's coming in, that person who's sitting there, if you find yourself on the wrong side of that track, it's going to become a problem. I don't know that there's anything to give back. I don't know, but what I do know is that he moved too fast. So let me answer this, Magnolia Brown. Constitution does not say that it has anything to do with states touching. That is a common culture, but it is not constitutional. That's just something that people believe is in the Constitution. It's actually not there. Our Constitution actually says that jurisdictions can be formed without regard to geographical location. So a jurisdiction be formed. There's a bishop in California who had churches all over the country, but he has California jurisdiction. So the chairman of the General Assembly, who is in Kansas, has churches in Texas. Texas and Kansas don't touch. So that's it's a misconception within the church. Okay. But let me say this. Let me finish this thought on Bishop Sam. I think Bishop Williams, you've been there 40 years. You have the support of the people. People know you. They love you. You know Bishop Sample. You love him. I think that a conversation ought to be easy. This has gone too far. I don't know why it's gone this far. And unfortunately, Bishop Sample's not. I don't believe he's going to be able to undo this. I don't see anything done wrong, to be quite honest. I just don't. Meritization is an honor. Again, I read it to you all, and I wanted you all to see that, because a meritization is an honor. Not every jurisdictional bishop gets emeritized. So that's again, Jalen. That's why I was saying to you, it's separate from the resignation and the retirement. Okay. So the minute that Bishop Sample says, "I'm done," and the presiding bishop and the general board accept that, that's your retirement. You resigned at that point. The only question is, do you receive the status of emeritization, which comes with your church and your jurisdiction taking care of you for the rest of your life? Because that's what the status really is about. The benefits and the honor and the remuneration that comes with it. Yeah, it's different. And really, I don't even know if you have the authority. I was researching that. I can't find anywhere where you have the authority to rescind a request for meritization because it's an honor that's bestowed upon you anyway. So it's just whether or not they consider to do it. I think Bishop Sample should accept yes for an answer, be emeritized. I think he should accept that honor and all they could. I think that 55 years he built that church. He's the founder, the establishmentarian of the jurisdiction. I think they ought to just take care of him and treat him right. I don't think if it's me, and this is just me, y'all, if it's me and I'm sitting in the General Assembly and this comes to the floor, I'm probably not going to vote for because I don't want the precedent of a bishop being able to change his mind because he doesn't like the results that come out of whatever happens. I think Bishop Sample, honestly, I don't know why he let them shut him down when Bishop McClelland came to the church. He was still the bishop and the pastor at that moment. He could have appointed anybody he wanted to. He could have did it right then and there. But I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't even know. That's a good question. Sister Moreau say with all this chaos, but I don't know because they can withdraw it. I don't know. Absolutely. Again, I mentioned that, Jalen. I mentioned that earlier. That is a problem for me. That's why I played the Bishop Mark Gilkey that video from his service where Bishop Bashir talked about that because he did say to, and I've got the tape. He did say to Bishop Sample that he had veto power, and if he didn't like what he did, he could always veto it. I'm not. That's why I'm saying I don't understand why we are here. Even if Bishop Sample said, I want Pastor Williams to be the pastor, and then changed his mind for whatever reason. If he had veto power, and again, that's why Jalen, I think this is a question for the General Assembly. I think they need to implement all of the shalls. And I think the proper place for this is on the floor of the General Assembly. And I think the General Assembly needs to hear it and vote on it. I think that's the constitutional right that he has, because he hasn't been removed. There's been no process by which to do that. So that's it. I wish people would get it. Thank you so much. I wish people would get it. You know, that's all I'm advocating for. Stick to the Constitution. You don't have these problems. This is what happens when people just do stuff, based off of culture or what they feel or what somebody's thinking on whatever given day. Well, what happens when you no longer like what somebody else is doing, thinking, and saying? Now you want to change everything. Come on, man. We got to stop all this. The audio clip is absolutely confusing. Absolutely confusing. It is because in one instance you're saying, trust us and whatever. And Dr. Prim, I'm so glad to see you tonight, man. I'm sure you had a long day, but God got the glory. I'm not even doubting it, not even a little bit. But to tell somebody, trust me, Bishop, you got the veto power. If you don't like what we do, you got the veto power. Does the Constitution give the presiding bishop the authority to give a bishop veto power? Absolutely not. It was nonsense when it was said. Taylor is hilarious. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is no such thing. I mean, I guess he could, I guess he could give him whatever he want to give him, he could give him a pink unicorn if he wanted to, but there's no such there's no such power as where the jurisdictional bishop has veto power over the presiding bishop and general board. Come on, y'all. We knew better than that. We knew better than that. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Y'all ain't never read it because it's not there. It doesn't exist, man. I don't. But again, I don't. The problem that I'm having is that this is the man that Bishop Sample initially said he wanted. So without an explanation as to why you don't want him now, I think there's clearly something that's not being said here, and that's just what my spidey senses tell me, because this is weird. This is odd. There's something not being said. Jalen is working. Jalen is doing his. He is doing his Kobe Bryant tonight, y'all. Y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know. He is not a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. He is doing his Kobe Bryant at Shaq tonight. And they're just dunking in the paint. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. You got it, man. I love when Jalen is here. Yeah, I don't know. I know they chose somebody else for Bishop Sample's jurisdiction. I forget the gentleman's name. But someone else was chosen for Bishop Sample's jurisdiction. It was not Administrative Assistant Nathaniel Green. Maybe he could recommend Sherman. Well, if a bishop in Georgia can recommend Brian Carr, anything can happen. Anything can happen. They are trying to fast track Administrative Assistant Green. I thought he deserved AIM personally. He's been with the department a long time. He worked his way up. I cannot knock a young man who still does the work, though. I mean, I guess the question becomes, how bad can you have a problem with a guy just because of the people he's connected to? Now, there's some people that's connected to them that, they just riding the name, okay? And we know who they are. There's a lot of folks just riding the name. Marco, that's all I'm saying. Brian Carr won't make it a coach. I don't know. He might. I don't know if he could or he couldn't. I don't know. Is he too much of a renegade? Y'all think? Could Brian Carr make it in coach? I think with some discipline he could. Yeah, he might fit right in. He fits in a lot of places. That I think he needs discipline, but and then again, it depends on who's in leadership. And then can he change his doctrine? Can he change what he believes? I don't know. I don't know if he can change what he believes. Musicians and deacons want all the women to themselves. Well, it's not that the musicians and deacons want all the women to themselves. It's just those are the only ones available in the church that want women. Oh, you know what, Jayla? You trying to get me in trouble tonight. I am not. I'm not with you tonight, Jay. Jalen is not. Y'all tell Jalen he's trying to pull me in. I'm not going, Jalen. I'm not. Someone asked a question that I thought was interesting. I saw it about 30 minutes ago. There we go. What about the male leaders who are cosplaying like they are still married to their ex-wife, but they actually divorced, living in two different residences, but show up to churches like they're a couple. Wow. That's an interesting topic. We may have to talk about this. That may be a Friday topic. That may be a Friday topic. Thank you, Sister Rose. Somebody take Jalen's phone. Somebody take Jalen's phone, his laptop, his iPad, his smart TV. Somebody take Jalen's stuff. That is a deep question. I mean, if I tell you I do know of that actually being true. I'm telling you, I know of it being true. I ain't gonna tell y'all who I know that. I ain't gonna tell y'all that. But I do know that that's a fact. I do know that that's true. And then sometimes, now I do believe when pastors are going through in their marriage, I do think, when they're separated or something is happening, they're considering divorce. I think that should always remain private. But I don't think, once y'all divorced, what you, as the word was, cosplaying, what you cosplaying for? I don't get that. You gonna get it. Look, he's already monitoring you, Jalen. Next time y'all watch West Angeles, just look up in the nosebleed section in the balcony, because that's where Jalen's gonna be sitting at. That's where he's gonna be sitting. He's gonna be sitting up there with who was that? Which Clark's sister daughter is over there with y'all, Jalen? But she was sitting up in the balcony for like some months. Y'all didn't even know she was over there. I ain't gonna say no names. But that does happen though. And when I know of it happening, when I personally know of it happening, I do. Hey man, look, I got a license. Y'all don't have to. Y'all, we can go and get this right. But I don't know. People, listen, if I told y'all all the people, and I went back into history, y'all wouldn't look at some of y'all best bishops the same way. Jalen, I have no comments on that. I have none whatsoever. No comments on that at all. I have no comments. I don't. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that happen in Texas. But they happen in Texas. They happen in Memphis. They happen in California and Michigan and some other places too.
Bishop, we have had a great show this evening. We thank everyone for watching. Those of you, if it's your first time, we would love for you to subscribe to this channel. And also, if you would like to give support to Bishop Jordan, I feel that he would be a wonderful chairman for this great organization. And if you agree with me, we need your support. And that support, but financially, you can give your donation of your choice to the Cash App. That's $Heat Show. And also, you can give to the Zelle. It's at heatshowcomments@gmail.com. We need your support. It's costly to even consider to run for chairman. But if you believe and you're in favor of Bishop Jordan running for chairman, we need your support.
To be specific, we've got to raise $2,000 by tomorrow at 5:00. So if we hit our goal, then we will finalize the process and run for chair. If we don't hit our goal, we won't. That's just the bottom line to it. That's what Gail ain't telling y'all, but that's the bottom line too. You got to get through the delegates heads first, absolutely. But you got to get in. You got to get in, and then you've got to get your messaging out to the places where it needs to get out to, um, and that's what we've got to do. And so it's a lot of things that open up once you are in nomination. A lot of platforms, a lot of things that are naturally. It's kind of like once you become a candidate for president. Once you become the final two candidates, then you get all of the Secret Service and you get all of the finance released, and then you get everybody's on level playing field. But you got to do that first, and so it's a number of things that are required for us to do that, and that's what we need. We've got to raise $2,000 by 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, and finalize the process by tomorrow evening, because the deadline is 11:59 on Tuesday. And that's where we are. If you want to help, uh, you can send in as little as $20 if you want to help, $5, $20, 500. Somebody write the $2,000 tonight. I don't care. Whatever it takes. If you all want me to do it, then I need your help to do it. That's where we are in the process, because it's not just the application and all of the different backgrounds and checks and financial audits and all of the things that need to be done. It's a time frame in that, and then what has to happen immediately after that. So that's where we are. If you want to help, you're more than welcome to help. That's where we are. And we will come and show you if we hit the number, we will come and let you know that on tomorrow. I will personally let you know that. If we don't hit the number, I'll let you know that too. And because if we don't, then I won't. I will not, Sister Gail, again, I just can't. I'm not going to take on the entire thing myself. Again, we could, but we won't, because where there is no support, then you're just taking a walk. That's what Greg Norman said in his book called "A Good Walk Spoiled." He says, if you're leading and nobody's following, then you're just taking a walk. Can we write in people we want? Absolutely. The delegates, as a matter of fact, delegates can constitutionally could get up in the General Assembly and nominate somebody if they wanted to. That's they put someone's name in nomination, someone seconds it, and then it goes to a flow of vote on the floor of the General Assembly. And if the General Assembly votes yes, then that person gets on the ballot. That's another way to do it. There are other ways to do it, but this is just where we are right now. And so whatever you all decide to do, I want to thank you. But I mostly want to thank you for watching. Thank you, Felix. I'm available to do it, and I'm pushing to do it, but I want to make sure that
Now we have one in the chat say, "Run, Bishop." Now, do we have another?
We've seen it a few times tonight. I want to say, listen, y'all. Do me a favor, y'all. Would y'all do me a favor and like and share? If you're not subscribed to the channel, would you go and subscribe and make sure that you like and you share? It gets the algorithm up. I did not know these things. Yeah, if everybody in here was to sow $20 tonight, just in here, we would do what we needed to do. We'd have what we need. So I know people watch afterwards and all of that kind of stuff. But if 100 of you tonight would sow $20, we'll just send that in. We could do what we need to do on tomorrow and be done with it. That's right. The race is not given. It is not. And your gift still makes room for you. Yeah. So none of this is done, by ideas. Ideas, I used to say, Gail, all the time, the gospel is free. It's just expensive to get it to people. And so wisdom is free, but it's expensive to get it to the place of leadership. And so to be quite honest with you, by the time you finish running a race like this, you could easily spend well over $20,000-$30,000 just to run, and I'm just telling y'all the truth. And so I can't do it alone, um, because it's an expensive proposition, but it's an easy proposition. Um, yeah, the reality of it is our current chairman ran unopposed, because they kept me off the ballot the last time, and still got less than 50% of the vote. I'm gonna let that sink in. Ran unopposed and still got less than 50% of the vote. What does that tell y'all?
And you, the viewer, can
Thank you
make
for your support,
that change
Wilcox. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
by supporting.
Thompson, thank you for your support. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Give that gift. Give that gift. Whatever you have. $20, $5, $10, $100, $1,000. Nothing will be turned down. Send it to the
Y'all,
cash app or send it to the Zelle account.
y'all know I'm honest with you. You know I'm honest with you. I don't tell you something that ain't real. If I tell you $2,000, that's where we at. Any updates on Sister Finney's situation? Not as of yet. Hopefully Gail will be able to reach out to her this week and see how she's doing. Nothing as of yet. I've been traveling all weekend, so y'all have to forgive me.
Well, Bishop, I will say this before we close. I was, you go on different media sites, social media sites, and I saw something on a media site that said some people have left one of our bishop's church. I don't know because after the show.
I did see the same thing, that there was some people who've left a particular bishop's church. There's also, and Brother Marco alluded to this, there's also word that another bishop that we did talk about, from my understanding, maybe stepping down, um, and moving on to something else. But again, once it is, if it's official, then I'll let y'all know. If not, then no need to give it air and energy. Although he did post it. So I could tell you, but I'm just.
You still have the opportunity to either send an email.
That's not our goal, though. We don't listen, y'all bishops. I don't want none of y'all to quit doing whatever you did to quit. Stop. I just want you to follow the Constitution. I don't care what the rest of it, man. Sister Monroe, thank you so much for your support. I see it. It's hitting my screen. When y'all hearing that bing, that's what's coming in. Thank y'all so much for your support.
I need to hear a 50 more before we close. 50 of you can do that. Make that ring.
The concept that nobody wants us. The concept that nobody watches us is pretty. I think we've eliminated that. Now I'm gonna deal with somebody, Jalen and Felix. I'm gonna deal with somebody on the next show, because I want to help make him famous. He thought he should have been famous, and so I'm gonna help make him famous since he wanted to be famous, and for all the wrong reasons. But I'm gonna help make him famous. I'm gonna help him be famous. Since you want to be famous, sir, I'm gonna help you to be famous.
Now you do know. I mean,
I'm gonna help Mr. Oklahoma be famous unless he comes and apologizes. I'm gonna help him be famous. What'd you say, Gail?
To everyone that views this show, we don't ask for money. We don't really ask for money, but at this particular time to help his campaign to run, we need you to send that donation. Whatever you have, the $5, $10, $50, $100. Some of you all can do that, and that will help with the process and the travel that Bishop Jordan does. Even just not outside of this, he does a lot of traveling.
Where did you send it to, Felix? Where did you send it to? Did you send it to the email? Go ahead, again. I'm talking to you.
So your donations is greatly appreciated. Again, you can send it to the Zelle.
Let me say this though, Gil. Every dollar sent between now and 5 p.m. tomorrow is specifically to finalize the application and nomination process for chairman of the General Assembly. It's not going anywhere else. If it doesn't come in, I'll send it back. I don't need it like that. What I need is I want us all to do this. This is our church, and it's the people's church, and it's for us to do. Okay, yeah, email it to me, please. I'm not. I don't. Let me tell you something, Gail. I don't. I want y'all to know. I have no ego in this. I'm not running because I need to be the chairman or that I need a job. I don't. If I do it, it will simply be because we need a change. We need change, and I will be, this will be about the people. So if we all do a little bit, we don't. None of us have to do a lot, but that's my requirement. It's not. It's no one else asking y'all. I want y'all to know. It's not someone else doing it. It's me saying, unless I see the support of the people, then there's not a cause for me. I don't need to take a walk, but I will go and fight. I'm of the mind frame. Here I am. Send me. Even Jesus tells the Father, says, prepare me a body. Jesus didn't just come, but there was a requirement. Thank you, chaps. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I see them coming in. Thank you so much.
You can either send an
Thank you,
email
Spain. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Jenkins, thank you so much.
or
Uh,
you can send a text message. And
Manuel,
we'd
thank you
love to
so
hear
much.
from you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. I don't, I don't ever want people to think uh, Dr. Moses Tyson is in the building. Good to see you, Doctor. I told you I love Dr. Tyson. Dr. Tyson's in the building. He said they called the cops on him Friday. What?
They called the cops. Oh Lord, call the cops on who? Ah,
10 police cars. Okay. This is why, listen, Gail, that's why at this platform we always focus on the Constitution. Because once it gets personal, it ain't much for us to talk about. It ain't much for us to do because it's gonna go the way it goes. That's the way it goes. It's gonna go the way it goes. Okay, Tyson Moses said he called on him and Bishop Sample. Why don't they call the cops on Bishop Sample? I hate where I see this going. I told y'all this was gonna go there, but I hate to see it go there. It's not good for the church. We got to do better. Felix is correct. We got to do better. Why? Come on, come on. We got to do better than that. 55 years of service and building the church and serving. It's. You know what, y'all? Can I say this to you all? And Gail, this is the case. Dr. Tyson, this past week. Now, in case you all do not know, in case you all don't know, I am an actual. Thank you, Roosevelt. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. In case you all do not know, I am a court certified mediator. I'm actually a Supreme Court and federally certified mediator. Okay. Um, and so I get called in to do a lot of things. I got a call about another issue within the church. Um, and so I reached out to the parties. Gail knows this is a true story. I reached out to the parties in the past week and called them up and said, hey, told them who I was and said I've been asked to inquire as to whether or not you all would be willing to have a conversation that leads to a settlement and kind of end this issue, within the brotherhood, within the church, and not lead to a drawn out, protracted court case. And they were both jockeying. And one was saying, no, I won't unless he will. And the other said, I won't unless he will. And so finally, one agreed, the bishop agreed, and then I reached out to the other party. And what I came to discover is that somehow, when people decide they want to fight, they just fight. Now, they could have easily came to a settlement. I knew what both sides wanted. I had gotten both sides to agree in principle to give the other side what they wanted. But when it came down to it, they just want to fight. I see that way too much in this church. I see it way too much. And I told Sister Monroe, I told both sides when I got the moment, I said, listen, I can't make y'all not fight. If that's what y'all want to do, y'all can do that. I'm not here for that. I'm here to facilitate peace. But sometimes people just want to draw it out. And they can draw it out. They don't realize for years. Because the problem is, Dr. Tyson, I don't know if you have come to see this as much as I have. The national church is like the house at a casino. Yeah, they playing with house money. They got time. One of the biggest strategies of the national church, they got time. Because they're playing with a little bit of money from a whole lot of people. And so they got time. Roll says, do these people that claim they have the Holy Ghost, they're going to have to say that? Listen, man, I'm trying to figure out whether or not people got I don't believe most of these people saved at this point. I don't know, man. I think I don't know why people can't just come to what seems to be a simple agreement. I don't know what they fighting. Sometimes I can't tell you what they fighting over or why. It is, Dr. Prim, it's a sad state in our church. It's a sad state in our church. Hold on, Dr. Tyson, hold on one second. But our church is in a bad place.
Dr. Tyson, check your email, please.
I don't like where our church is. I don't. By the way, Pastor Williams, Sister Jasmine, Sister Gabrielle, let Pastor Williams know he can come on anytime because I believe in fair and balance. I don't have no issues one way or the other. I don't. I'm hoping I don't know why this can't be solved. I wish it could be. It's only fair. And some platforms, they don't do that. But to me, it's only fair. Moses is a friend and a friend of the show. Dr. Tyson is. And so we've sent him the link. If he wants to come up and join in, he's free to do that. Dr. Prim says, this is why it's hard for true sons of the church of God in Christ to bring other churches back. Yeah, absolutely. I've experienced the same issue. Um, it's hard to convince people to come back or to come in at all, because we don't. It's a couple of issues. Not only because we're doing this. Um, uh, Dr. Tyson, I think she sent you the link. Not only because we're doing this. Uh, Text Gail. You got her number. Text. Shoot her a text. Um, we got a couple minutes. But not only for this reason, though, Prim, it's also just because they won't follow these books. And if you don't know what you're getting into, it's like y'all ever got a credit card, you didn't read all of the fine print in it, and they didn't disclose everything up front, so you didn't know that this was a horrible card that you should have never got. And then all of a sudden you miss a payment, and the next thing you know, you're paying 69% interest, and your credit rating then dropped 100 points. That's kind of how we operate. I'm 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 confused by it. I'm read the fine print. Yeah, absolutely. Just listen. In these days, Sister Monroe, you can't just read the fine print. You got to read the fine print, then go to YouTube and look for some videos from some reviews of some other people who have got caught up by it, and then you got to go and Google it, and then you might even have to go to ChatGPT and ask them some questions about it as well. You find yourself in all kind. This is. I was so despondent when I couldn't just get people to agree to talk in the brotherhood. Y'all hear me when I'm talking? To not just talk because they were afraid that if I talk to him, that might mess up the process I'm in within the church. What? And my question was simple. Do you want to be done with this? Do y'all just want to move on with your lives? Why y'all been fighting about this for months? By the time I see y'all been doing this for over a year, really? About nothing? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I'm willing to help facilitate and participate in anything that brings peace in any situation within our church. I do it for a living every single day. I really do. For two of the largest counties in the state of Texas. So I'm in the middle of cases every day. I do that every day. I help people settle every day. And it's weird that I remember telling these two people last week, and I said to them both individually, different conversations, but I told them both the same thing. That the reality of it is, Jasmine, I'm in Tarrant County every week solving just bringing cases to an end, because every lawsuit in Texas goes to mediation. It's a requirement, and Texas has some of the strongest mediation laws in the country. But every case goes to mediation, but it has to be with a court certified mediator, somebody who's matriculated on the campus and has the education in which to do it. Every judge, every litigator, every former litigator, every former judge has to go back to school, and we all have to get the same graduate certificates in order to practice in courts in Texas. But the reality of it is, they probably could have solved it if they would just sit and talk. And I told them, Sister Parker, I said to them, here's what's crazy. People show up at court and they're ready to go. They think they want to go to trial. They've been fighting for however long they've been fighting, a year or two. And then the judge looks at them and says, now what I want you to do is go over to the office with that man over there and see if y'all can come up with a solution. Because if you don't, here's where we're going. And 20, 30 minutes later, it's over. Because somebody just needed to facilitate it to happen. When y'all hear about celebrity divorces and you hear they're divorcing and they're fighting and they do, remember Brad Pitt and all that kind of stuff, then all of a sudden you don't hear nothing about it. You just hear they got divorced and there's no details. That's because they went to divorce mediation. It's a powerful part of the legal justice system. It's part of the system that helps the most. But what I have discovered is people who don't talk to each other, we have a word for them, litigants, because you're going to end up in court. And unfortunately, it's going to cost everybody involved unnecessary money. Unnecessary money. You can't get a child support order without first going to mediation. You can. I mean, it's why people don't sit down and just talk. I don't understand. There's a misconnect somewhere in this situation. And before we start sending letters across the bow and we start, doing all of this, all of these legalities, it would be amazing what could happen if a person just picked up the phone and got somebody neutral in between them. It's better to reconcile, Sister Monroe. It's cheaper to reconcile. I remember they used to tell me before I got married, they said, now listen, it's always cheaper to keep them. Sometimes, not only does the Bible require us to reconcile, but sometimes it just saves you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of headache, a lot of heartbreak. Sometimes mistakes are made. And when those mistakes are made, people get offended. And what I've come to realize, and I promise y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I don't know what's happening in the background. But what I can tell you is that unresolved issues lead to problems. Unresolved issues always lead to deadly problems. For the wages of sin is still death. Something still has to die. We misconstrue that to believe that means somebody has to die. No. If God says don't treat your brother in a certain kind of way and you do, that's sinful, and something has to die. I remember I was in my 20s when I realized that to be a true statement, because I was heading over to somebody's house I didn't need to be going over to. And when I got through and left the house, I realized I was out of gas and ran out of gas in the middle of nowhere, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Something's always going to die. Sin will always cause something to die. Whether it's your money, whether it's your peace of mind, whether it's your blood pressure, something with your health, something goes down. Sister Monroe, I got this thing in my house. It's something that I told my wife before I married her, and it sits outside still to this day, sits outside of my bedroom, and it simply says one thing: you can be happy or you can be right today. Now, I have to be honest and tell y'all I did not come up with it, but I tell everybody who thinks they want to be married or in a relationship with anybody that same thing. I got it from Bill Cosby on the Cosby Show. He was talking to Theo, and he says he was giving him some advice, and he says to it was Theo, and I think Denise was the one getting married, and he said, "Boys, I think whoever it was that was marrying not Denise but the other daughter." And they said, "Well, Dad, how do we stay happy like you and Mom?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you what the old man told me. He said, you could be happy or you could be right, but you can't be both at the same time." Wow.
We still need you to give. You can give to that Cash App of $ Heat Show, and you will see the logo in the Cash App. And you can also have the opportunity to send to the Zelle account. That's heatshowcomments@gmail.com. You will see the name of David Jordan. Back to you, Bishop.
Dr. Moses Tyson is in the building. We got a few minutes here left. But he has come in the building, and I want to give him an opportunity to say what's up and tell us what's on his mind. Um, is he in, Gil?
I am not sure. I'm assuming he is. Um, he needs to connect his mic and his camera before he can, he can do his microphone. You need to connect the microphone and the camera. Or
Thank you, Dr.
have
Moses.
Cairman just
Thank you so
turn
much.
on the mic.
Not about to be part three. No, ma'am, Sister Monroe. No, ma'am, not about to be part three. Yeah, you see what Sister Monroe said about us.
It will not be a part 4. Oh no. This will be it, but we still need you to give. Please give to that Cash App of $ Heat Show, and give or you have the choice to give to the Zelle at the Heat Show Comments at gmail.com. You will see the name David Jordan.
Oh, we're just waiting on Dr. Tyson to come in the room. He's in the stage, but he's not in the room yet.
You got me now?
Oh, Dr. Moses Tyson, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm in Dallas, Texas,
Are you still
and I was halfway.
in DFW?
Oh yes, I got to come back. I of course, when it's earlier myself together, I'll come back to give you more details. But let me give you the bottom line of this case. Okay?
As a matter of fact, let's do it Friday if you're available. Let's do it Friday.
I'll check my schedule, but let me just give you the overview of this case.
Go ahead.
You know we beat that Florida case, West Side.
I do know about West Side. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to get
They left the church. They left the church with a $300,000 legal bill, but the judge told them that they basically had lied to her court and ruled in their favor. I'll get you that. You can go up on culturejustice.net to see the ruling.
Okay.
They destroyed the rental house. They won't pay Sister Hupp 3 years worth of rent because COGIC had told the court they owned the house, even though Sapo, they put in writing the house was a private house. So they told the General Assembly and the people one thing, Bishop Jordan, and told the courts something else. And I have all the files. So let me just cut to the chase with Bishop Sample. Bishop Sample tried to take me in his office with him Friday, and Ella Perry Williams called the police. Of course, we have videotapes. And we didn't argue. And he signed a phony criminal trespass warning. And he said that basically he was the highest ranking officer in the church. And they know that Bishop Sample is the pastor because they have in their bylaws that their corporation is not governed by Memphis, Tennessee, like a lot of people have. You know, people leave COGIC all the time,
Right.
and they don't even notify Memphis. Memphis do not own our local church properties. That's how we beat that case in Florida because we proved it. I have where Sappho himself sent me a personal text that they know they don't own our property, but yet they go to court and they lie because most people don't have the money to fight back. Now, here's the bottom line with Bishop Sappho, and I talked to Bishop Sheard, and I'm going to tell Bishop Sheard to his face if I get to see him. They are engaging in fraud down here in Texas, and they tried to swindle Bishop Sappho. You heard Bishop Sheard tell Bishop Sappho to trust me, trust me. If you don't like what I'm doing, you can veto it. But what
Yes,
he didn't tell
heard
the
that.
people was Bishop had already appointed his successor on January the 7th. We have the letter and everything. You also know, Bishop Jordan, I have a property in San Francisco that's worth millions of dollars. You could be the CEO and pick a lead pastor because the corporation is signed through the Secretary of State.
Right.
They don't care nothing about my COGIC paper. What gives me the power is that tax ID control. That's the business of that corporation. So I'll just end it with this. Bishop Sappho's property is worth about $8 million.
Okay.
And he has a lucrative church. Bishop Sheard got in with a couple of local people and got the gospel in Cairman out because I talked to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I begged him to don't do to them what you did to Bishop Cowles, cut and paste the letter, told all kind of things that was not true. Sappho even filed charges against the late Chief Justice. I'll get you all that information. Where
Johnson, I remember that. I talked to him.
he said that they defrauded Bishop Cowles in so many words. I can get you them charges again. And so, bottom line in this case, I am telling you that Bishop Sheard, McClellan, and others have engaged in shady, dishonest, abusive, divisive business. They're trying to steal control of a corporation that they have.
Dr. Tyson, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Because you know I'm in Texas, so you know I hear a lot of things. My understanding is that at one point Bishop Sample had wanted or had named Perry Williams as the next man. Did he change his mind? Is that what happened? Or what?
No, that's not true. He had been talking about making Pastor Seth the pastor for a while with multiple preachers. He already had signed the letter of appointment and notarized on January the 7th before Bishop Sheard even got involved with anything. They tried to hide it from you. I will send you the actual letter with the notary.
Okay.
Bishop is a businessman. Then they had people think,
put it up.
I'm going to send it to you. Then they had people thinking that Bishop had basically lost his mind, sitting in the back room somewhere, and the daughter-in-law doing it. Well, you're going to see Bishop talking on video from Friday, where he had to tell his office manager that didn't I hire you? And the office manager said, yeah, you did. He said, well, don't you know I can fire you? But they was talking with Bishop Sheard and McClellan Friday and got the police.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Tyson, because here's where I'm confused. How did all this get started? What did Bishop Sample do to start to do this? How did this get started?
Absolutely nothing, but wrote a letter saying he was getting ready to turn over the lead pastor to Seth Cunningham. That was January the 7th. Bishop Sheard wasn't involved in nothing at that point. Some people started undermining, calling Bishop Sheard, and he got involved in local gossip. And I told him, you the presiding bishop. You ain't, if he wants to be emeritused as a bishop, that has nothing to do with him as a pastor. I know you know that.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, because he
Bishop Sheard
jurisdiction without giving up the church. So
that is correct.
So I'm trying to figure out, okay, let me ask you this. Why didn't he just appoint him before he brought the national church, before the national church got there? Why didn't he?
He didn't bring the national church in. Bishop Sheard called the meeting. I'm going to send you a letter where he basically asked Bishop Sheard not to come. He said he knew that Bishop Sheard was talking to some of the people that was trying to undermine him because they was trying to keep Seth out. I will send you the letter where he asked Bishop Sheard not to come. And then when Bishop Sheard got there, he set him down as pastor. And he wrote Bishop Sheard the next day and say, you're not supposed to deal with my pastor. And Bishop Sheard ignored all that stuff and promised him if he didn't like what he did, he could veto it. He has yet to return Bishop's call.
Say that on tape. So
right. So I'm telling you,
So what about the now I know being here that Bishop Sample, I know he was sick a little what like some years ago. Like I know he's kind of been in and out with that anyway, in terms of what he was going to do. Then he finally made a decision to do that. Was there
because his wife died.
right? His wife died. After his wife died, that was kind of the final straw for him, from what I was told. What
And the
is
church was going down, so he wanted to bring Pastor Seth Cunningham there because he has a church that came from him. He was a young man. Bishop groomed him for years. And once they found out a group of people got involved, start calling Bishop Sheard. I'm going to send you
yeah.
the letter so you can post them. Bishop
So
Sheard
why? Let
jived
me
him
ask you
around
this:
and played games.
why does the national church not want Seth? What seems to be the problem? Because
And
this
a bunch of
ought to
games.
be easy. Is my point. I don't understand why this is a problem. Why
Well,
they?
I'm going to cut to the chase with you so you'll understand it real good. It ain't none of Bishop Sheard's business who his successor is because he already signed that letter January the 7th. I'll send you the letter. They
Okay.
tried to hide the
So
letter,
that was
and
before.
then
That's before McClellan comes in and takes over.
absolutely,
Okay.
McClellan and Bishop Sheard came down here and engaged in fraud. Now, if I could say that, that's some heavy words.
Gotcha.
Just like they did with Bishop Cowles. Bishop Sheard cut and paste the letter and act like it came from Bishop Blake, but he changed the bottom of the letter. I
Mm,
will challenge Bishop Sheard to come on here with me, and I'll tell him in front of y'all. Bishop Sheard and them get engaged in fraud, lying to courts, and cheating these people.
okay.
Now, the last straw was to call the cops up to that man's church. That's the last straw. It was about 8 to 10 cops came up there, and we got it all on video.
So was Seth ever the youth director for Bishop Sample?
Yes, and when he
Removed?
left, it went down. Then COVID came. Seth has a church with about 300 members, mostly young,
Yeah,
and they're renting.
I heard.
They are renting. So Bishop wanted to bring them young people over and rebuild that church again. Now, Ella Perry Williams, I hadn't said nothing about him.
Hold on. So really, what Bishop's concept is that he wanted Seth to come and merge and take over Holy Tabernacle as one big church versus him trying to pay all these bills somewhere else and give him the opportunity. Did he ever take him down as youth director, or how did that?
No, Seth, to my understanding, Seth started his church, I think, during COVID.
Okay.
With Bishop's blessings. With Bishop's blessings. So what happened is Bishop blessed them. So what happened is, to make a long story short, they have engaged in dishonest stuff, man. That's all I can tell you. Mr. Jordan, you don't know me to be a liar.
No, I know.
And I don't talk without facts.
I think what happens, Dr. Tyson, and I said this about something else last week. I think a lot of times, because people don't know what happens behind the walls,
I'm gonna send you the actual document.
they assume, and I'm not even talking about this situation. I'm saying they assume, like for instance, if Seth just went out with the blessing of the bishop, but that never got said, they assumed there was a problem where there was no problem. And so then all of a sudden the problem becomes a problem because I didn't know it wasn't a problem. And now
no, sir, it wasn't no problem.
But you're saying there was no problem. Because
I met with Seth, I met with Pastor.
Why he would want to be putting this guy, why he'd be fighting to put this guy in if there's a problem.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I met with Pastor Seth and Bishop together. It's a loving relationship of mutual respect. Seth cares about souls. And I saw that firsthand. And I told him, don't get involved in none of this stuff. He's 41. You concentrate on the airplane, and I'm gonna get the runway cleared off and make sure it's cleaned up, because Ella Perry is sitting in a ditch with mud, and that plane ain't going nowhere. And now that he didn't call the police on me, and I saw how dishonest he was so rude, and he act like he outranked Bishop, but he made a mistake. He signed his name on a criminal trespass warning. And so I got to go show the judge that he lied to the police, tied up all them cops. And that certificate that Bishop McClellan gave him ain't worth monopoly money. And he got a probation letter. Bishop McClellan ain't got no power in this corporation. Bishop Jordan, you know better than that.
Have y'all
I didn't already wrote to Oral Rock. I didn't wrote to, huh?
Have y'all talked? Have y'all made any?
Me and Bishop Shear talked. I told Bishop Shear they got to stop all this lying.
No, I'm saying
That's what I told him.
Has Bishop Sample and Pastor William, have they sat down and had a conversation? They've known each other a long time. Have they had a
I've seen
conversation?
Ella Williams in action Friday. He's a liar. And I haven't said nothing about him until he called the cops.
Has him and Bishop Sample had a conversation? They've known each other 40 years. Have they had a conversation?
Yeah, they've had conversations, but you got to understand, Bishop, what I see now, Perry Williams and them just saw this multi-million-dollar operation in the board. They figured Bishop 88, from what I can see, they wouldn't have cared if Bishop hadn't never came back to that building. Bishop hadn't been to church in 5 months until I brought him back. That's why they try to keep me out.
But if Williams has been there over 40 years, is what I'm told. He's been in that church over 40 years. He already knows the value of that church. He doesn't have to figure that out. He knows it. He's been a member there 40 plus years. Why is it that they cannot have a conversation and you don't, because Williams 40 plus years?
Because Williams decided to undermine Bishop Sample. I hadn't said nothing about him negative up until now because he hadn't called the cops on me. This little man called the police while me and the office manager was talking. He's not fit to lead a fly squad for the way he disrespected in front of Bishop. Bishop have a guest, me standing there with him.
Police on you, Dr. Tyson. What was you out there?
Because he didn't want me to be able to, he didn't want me to go in the building, and he signed a thing that if I come back up there, they want to arrest me.
Was this on a Sunday or something? He trying to keep you from going?
This was this Friday. This was Friday. This past Friday.
What are they doing? Having service or something? What do you call the police?
No, we went up there to the office because Bishop hadn't been going to the office. So I told him the Bishop needed to get in the office and they need to send the keys back to the church because the state of Texas still have him listed as the president of that corporation. So now how they going to explain that to the judge?
Basically, Bishop wanted to go to his office. That's basically the problem.
That is correct. And he wanted me to come in with him. He told Bishop, you can come in, but he can't. I told him, you're not over the church. Bishop is the president of this corporation. So he called the police.
Okay, so that became the problem. It was not.
So he disrespected Bishop.
He had a problem with you, and
Bishop Sample.
But you were with Bishop Sample, so
that is correct.
Okay, I get you.
So Bishop Sample had to tell him I built this office, and he called the police. So I saw him disrespect Bishop Sample. I wouldn't let Bishop Sample, if they listen to me, he will never meet with Williams them until Pastor Seth is installed. And hopefully that could be within the next 2 weeks. Only thing he did was delay me from getting back in the church. But God willing, I will be back in that church, I assume, as soon as I get before the judge. And I'm going to report him for filing a false claim against me because he's not over Bishop Sample. So do you understand, Bishop Jordan? He denied Bishop Sample his guest coming in his office.
I understand. Let me say this because there are a lot of members who are watching us. Let me say this because I believe it's necessary. And I know that it's contention, but I think what happens in these moments right now, there has to be a mutual level of understanding and respect where the members have to understand, for whatever reason, Bishop Sample honors and respects you and wants you.
And he's the president of the corporation. And unfortunately, Bishop Sheard is the one that's confusing the people, just like he tore up Bishop Cow's church. He doesn't tell the truth in these matters. And I love Bishop Sheard. You know, I fought for Bishop.
Hold on, Dr. Tyson.
I love him like a brother. That's why I'm telling the truth. These people need to get.
Hold on, Dr. Tyson. Hold on 1 second. Aside from all of that, I ain't talking about president, corporations, and none of that. I'm saying these members who love Bishop Sample have to respect the fact that for whatever reason, Bishop Sample trusts you and wants you to be a part of this process. And that's the bottom line to it. If you don't start at a level of mutual respect for that, it's going to always be a fight. And what it
It
sounds
ain't
like
the
to
members
me,
that's fighting me.
but it sounds
The
like
members
to
ain't fought
me,
me.
it sounds like to me that for whatever reason, he wanted Bishop to come in, but not you. But he can't make that decision because Bishop can have whoever he wants with him. And that's a level
Thank you.
of respect that I'm talking about. I'm talking about beyond all of the, because you're talking about people who have known each other their whole lives or 40,
Thank
50
you very
years.
much.
And it shouldn't be this kind of, in that type of situation. Whatever reason, this is who he
Bishop
trusts. This
Jordan,
is his team.
Bishop
And all
Jordan,
people have to
Bishop
respect.
Jordan,
Yes, sir.
listen to me. It ain't so much Perry Williams as is Bishop Sheardon McClellan. They the one telling him he's the pastor, and they know that's not true. He
Well,
only have a
that
certificate.
may be true, Dr. Tyson, but he's a grown man, and
That is correct.
all I'm talking about is that this should be able to be taken care of if you get past all of the personalities. Those
Well, I
people
thought
have
that
to be
too
able to
until he
talk.
called the cops. I've never
Well,
had a run-in
well,
with him. That was
right.
my first time seeing
I
him.
don't know why he did that. I don't know why he would have thought that was necessary.
One moment, one moment.
You
Let the
you
bishop finish.
You're
The bishop
relatively
finish.
harmless, so I don't know why anybody called the police on you. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not.
No, I'll tell you why they call the police.
Why is that? What happened?
Because I'm going to help. They call the police because I'm assistant bishop in a publicly appointing Seth. It would have happened next Sunday. It just got delayed a little because I got to see the judge to clear up that phony trespass thing. Man, you'd be surprised the lies and games that's going on in this case. I'm gonna send you the documentation so you can see it yourself.
Send me the video. I'll play it.
Yeah, you know I don't make up nothing, Bishop Jordan. People can sue you.
Yeah, it's not a. I think this. It still sounds to me as somebody who's done this a whole lot in court. This seems to be something that should be relatively easily fixable.
If they stop playing games, Bishop Jordan.
But here's the thing. It sounds like over the years, Bishop Sample may have vacillated on Seth, and so some people are thinking he wants him, some people think he doesn't want them. He's been asked at different times. I've heard about the different church meetings and him being asked very directly, "Do you want this guy?" and him saying no, and now wanting him. There's a confusion here. I just can't figure out where it's coming from and where it started, and that's what makes it the hardest thing. Is because I can't.
No, it's not. It's not, Bishop. Bishop, trust me, we have a lying demon in this organization. Bishop is a very businessman. He put in writing his successor and tried to meet with the members, and guess what? Bishop Sheard and them canceled the meetings.
I get that Bishop is a businessman, except
no, I said they canceled his meetings with his own members.
No, what I'm saying to you is because you keep saying Bishop is such about the business. But for instance, when I'm looking at his recension letter, and he's saying I didn't make a request, but I'm making a request to rescind. I didn't put the proper paperwork in. I trusted the process. It's a lot of things that he didn't do to take care of the business, or else this wouldn't even be an issue, right?
No, that's not true. Bishop Sheard told him to trust him. And if you don't like anything, you can veto it.
Well, come on, as a businessman.
Wait. He's 88 years old. Wait a minute, Bishop Jordan.
I get it. No, I get it.
Can we trust?
One moment.
What I'm saying,
it's a delay.
What I'm saying, Dr. Tyson, is in that moment he didn't make good business decisions, and we can't.
In that moment, it was. I'm gonna send you the full letter.
88 for that, but then say he's still capable to do it.
No. Let me make sure you understand something.
Okay.
Until that process is finished, it's not official. We've had bishops that changed their mind 2 and 3 times.
I agree.
Talk to Bishop Johnson.
I absolutely agree. We are not in disagreement about that.
So when Bishop was talking to him, he had just been disrespected by some of his board, so he was tired. But he didn't want him to deal with his local church. That's the only problem. Bishop overstepped into the local church.
I get that, but what I'm saying to you is simply this. That was just an instance that I'm saying to you where Bishop Sample didn't take care of the business in the way that he could have taken care of the bill. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm saying I understand why he did it. I'm just saying the point of it is when you don't, you leave room for this type of thing to happen. And
So what?
that's where we are. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let me be
And I
clear.
don't think he
Yeah,
did
but
anything wrong.
but we still got to stay on the main point.
Hmm.
What I'm trying to tell you is once Bishop and them tried to take control of the local church, I'll send you the letter. I made a suggestion, rescind the request, then we don't have to keep talking to them about mixing up the local church.
Right.
I made that recommendation
Yeah,
because Bishop Sheardon was
figured
using
that
that to get in the local church.
yeah, I figured that's what that was about. I mean, I figured that's what that was about. I mean, you're a smart guy. I knew what that was
I
about.
put that in
I
writing
knew
to
that had
them.
nothing to do with the jurisdiction as much as it had to do with the local church. I just think that
Thank you.
I think Bishop should have. I don't think we have to disagree about it. Bishop Sample should have appointed him before he did any of this, and this wouldn't even be a
He already has. I'm gonna send you the letter. I'm gonna
okay.
send you the letter.
You know, if you send it to me, if you send it to me, I will put it in the context of the Constitution because that's all that matters. As long as he did what he constitutionally could do, then it's really not much more of a conversation. And this shouldn't be. I don't even know why this is a problem. But if he didn't, then I don't know what all of these different conversations. I don't know. I'm not a member of Holy Tabernacle,
I'm
but
gonna
I
send
do
you the
know
files, Bishop
that
Jordan,
it may
so
be
because I
too
don't
much
want it to be
information.
confusing.
Yeah. Send it to me.
Bishop
Let me read
Jordan.
it. You know, I'll read it.
But here's one thing I want you to answer because you're Constitution.
Yes, sir.
If he wants to be emeritused as bishop, that has nothing to do with his pastoring at his local church. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. Has nothing to do.
No, wait, say it again.
Has nothing to do. No constitutional connection at all.
Bishop tried to merge it. So that's why I suggested let's just pull that off the table so we don't have to keep trying to confuse
As
you.
a matter of fact, as I just got through discussing, Bishop Blake did the exact same thing.
Thank you.
Bishop Blake waited for Bishop Ely to, he did it. Bishop Ely was the jurisdictional bishop, and he made known to Bishop Ely what he wanted, and Bishop Ely accepted that. So it is to resign. But I also talked about Bishop Richardson in Houston, Texas, who did the exact same thing. He was the founder of his jurisdiction. He resigned from the jurisdiction. He pastored his church until the day that he died. So
thank you very much. That's the only contention.
Yeah, there's
I want to
not a
clear that up.
Yeah.
And once again, Bishop, and once again, we have ran out of time.
Gail is my closest confidant. I promise.
We have ran out of time, and we would.
Let me know your schedule. Let me know your schedule this week, Dr. Tyson. Shoot me a text. Let me know your schedule.
Yeah, because I'm tired now, but I really want to make sure you have the information. But you answered the main question. His being emeritused as a bishop had nothing to do with his local corporation. Is that not correct?
That is an honorary status according to our Constitution. It's an honor that's bestowed upon a retiring bishop, but it has nothing to do with his local church at all. Zero.
So I suggested that we pull that conversation off the table because that's what they was using to try to steal control of his local corporation. I made that suggestion.
And we thank you for those views tonight, Elder Moses Tyson. We thank you so much for being our guest tonight on The Heat. Back to you, Bishop.
Dr. Tyson, let me know your schedule. If you can't make it Friday, maybe next Sunday. As I have said to those, I know they watch. I always make things available. It's always fair. If Pastor Perry Williams wants to come on and have a conversation, he's more than welcome to. This, to me, though, I think is something that it seems to be. I do think, and I will tell you this, Dr. Tyson. I said this if you weren't listening earlier. I find the rescission letter very interesting because I think it creates a first impressions case for the General Assembly to consider. I don't know of a time that this has ever happened before. Now you say I don't know of any time that this particular thing has ever happened before.
What has?
Where a bishop has rescinded a resignation or retirement. I don't know of one that it has happened before but I do think it makes it interesting for the General Assembly to need to take it up because the General Assembly is the supreme judicial body. That's where it stops at. And I think we need to, as a body, vote on, can this happen and under what circumstances? It's not something that's written. And I think
Bishop
it's
Jordan,
very interesting.
let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand him giving up the jurisdiction? I don't care about that.
Yeah. But
The issue is they're trying to use that to take control of his local church. That's it.
right, but the problem is, and here's the problem. The recension letter is about he says he wants to remain the bishop. And I know he wants to do that because of the local church. The problem is, if he's not the bishop, and he has asked to give that up, it becomes a very convoluted case about the local church, even though he's not giving up the local church. And I don't know I don't even know why he needed veto power. You see what I'm saying? It's a convoluted something in there that I have not yet seen, because I don't know why him and Bishop Sheard are having the conversation about veto power if he has not already said to Bishop Sheard, I want somebody else to be the pastor. You see what I'm saying?
He had already told him that. That's why I'm going to send you the letter. And let me make sure you understand this. He wrote the letter before he even got the talking about being emeritused. So you're going to be able to see the date, and it's notarized.
Okay.
So he appointed him as jurisdictional bishop. I'll send you the letter.
Okay, I'll put it up.
They just been ignoring the letter.
Send it to me. We'll read it right here. We'll put it up.
Well, on the next show.
Okay, one last time then. Question to you, Bishop Jordan.
Yes, sir.
One last question. Giving up being emeritus has nothing to do with the local church, correct?
Not unless he resigns the pastorate.
That is correct. And he did not do that. He appointed him lead pastor on January the 7th. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
Thank you
It's
so
notarized.
much. On the upcoming shows, we will be looking at those letters that Elder Moses Tyson
Yeah,
has.
as long as he did it before he requested emeritization, I would agree with you on that.
And you also do know they have to vote to finalize the emeritization. The delegates
Absolutely.
do. He's not emeritized. So he's not emeritized yet.
It has to be the reading of the resolution and then the passing of that resolution in the General Assembly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Thanks, Dr. Tyson. Love you, man.
I appreciate you, Bishop Jordan.
Appreciate you.
See you, Sister Gail.
Thank you. God bless.
All
we
right.
thank all our viewers for watching the show. Hopefully you have gotten information that can help you and know how things are done in the Church of God in Christ. Once again, we want you to support Bishop Jordan. He is thinking of running for chairman in the year of 2020.
I'm running if y'all help me. I'm running.
If you help us, he will run. You see that there is a great need for a new chairman. And we believe that Bishop David E. Jordan is the man for the job. But we cannot do that unless we have your support. Even if you're watching the replay, you still have an opportunity to send your support of a monetary gift of your choice to the Heat Show at Cash App. That's $ Heat Show. Or you can send it to the Zelle account at heatshowcomments@gmail.com. You will see the name of David Jordan, and you can give your support by monetary gift. Back to you, Bishop.
Listen, Sister Parker, Sister Gabriella, all of you all from Holy, thank you so much for being in tonight. I hate that the church is going through what it's going through. I will say, Gail, and you're sitting here, you know me quite well. I meant what I said. I don't believe. I don't know what happened. Clearly, something has happened. I just don't know what. And I know I could put a lot of this and that in the air. I don't know. Here's what I would say to you all as the members. If you love Bishop Sample, and I know y'all do, he's been y'all leader a long time. He done probably married, buried, gave, was there to christen from the birth. Many of you all, your grandparents, your parents, whoever. Thank you, Sister Tina. I appreciate your support. here's what I would say to you all. In this moment, anytime you have conflict, you have to honor what the other side, you got to honor them just as much. I know that sounds weird. I know y'all don't want to do that. I know y'all feel like that there are people, let's just say people from the outside. At the end of the day, right now, those are the people that Bishop Sample trusts. And so if you want a dialogue and resolve, then you got to have people in the room that you may not want to be in the room, but they're there. The picture has to be bigger than just the people you don't want to see. And that's how you get to resolutions, because you can't talk to the bishop unless you're talking to the people who's around him. It's going to be that way. But I meant that, Gail. I don't understand 30, 40, 50 years. This Parker says this her whole life, 32 years. I don't understand. I don't understand people knowing that 30, 40 years can't talk. I just don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know why this is. I don't know what has happened. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I don't know. I do know. If I was Pastor Seth, I would not want no parts of this. Can I tell you all that? Can I tell you that, Pastor Seth? If I were Pastor Seth, I would want no parts of this. Because I know you got your own following and all of that. I get all of that. This is going to be a fight forever if you choose to take that fight. I've seen this fight. It never ends well. This fight never ends well. It's not a building worth it. Literally, there's a campus up the street from Bishop Sample right now that you can get for less money than Bishop Sample's campus is worth. It's got an operating school inside. Call me. I'll tell you who to call. It's a wonderful facility. It's literally 2 exits away. And it's closer to the city. I wouldn't fight over this. If the people don't want you, man, you don't want that fight. I promise you, you don't. You think you do, but I promise you, you don't. I would not. Gail, I wouldn't. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Bishop, soon it will be October, and people are making changes to their health insurance.
They are.
Those of you that are needing health insurance, or you already have health insurance and you're thinking of changing your health insurance, you can call Total Health and Life Insurance Group. That number is 512-609-0434. That number again is 512-609-0434. Bishop, we have had a great show.
Thank you so much.
And the clock on the wall says it's time to go.
It's time to go. Y'all have no idea how tired I am. Gail, y'all know Gail got these transitions, right? She gets that's that radio, that's that radio, years of radio experience that comes out of her. We thank God for her. Thank Dr. Shelton, man. What's going on, family? Good to see you, man. I did get your text, by the way. I just been on, you know me. I just been on the road. Please forgive me, but love you much, man. So
One
glad.
of these times, Bishop, we will have a cyberthon where we'll probably have like a shut-in um, online. So we have a couple of hours of shut-in. Sometime we already have the shut-in during the show because 3-4 hours, you know, that's a shut-in.
Yeah, yeah. I want nobody to never on this platform again say tiny man. I want nobody to never say those
He
two
said,
words.
little man, oh my God.
I want nobody to say that. Jayla, you are always welcome to host the heat. You anytime. I'm dead serious. Anytime. You are always welcome. I promise you can. I'll stay at home and watch you. I promise. Anytime.
Lacy.
I'll watch you and yell. I'll sit at home and watch you and yell. I promise. I don't know why all the best come out of Texas and Florida. We the two most retarded states in America. I don't know what we be having going on. Ooh, Jesus. Look, I don't even want to be here 4 hours. I sure don't want to go over there for 4. I don't know. But, they going to raise a lot of money over there. We
But
Terry.
we do need your
Thank
support.
y'all for those who have already supported. Thank y'all so much. Those who will afterwards. I'm going to look at this at 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's going to be the final determining factor because the time is limited. And so, if not, you all will not have to worry. I will let you know. And
The budget is $2,000.
that's
Those
what
that
we
are
will
watching
do.
the replay, you have the opportunity to still give to that Cash App Heat Show, $ Heat Show, or to the Zelle account that is heatshowcommons@gmail.com. You will see the name David Jordan. So we appreciate everyone watching tonight. We're almost into the next day.
Yeah, can we get off before we get to the next day?
At midnight, a cry was made. I'm about to cry right now. I got
Listen,
to go.
listen. Shackles and everything were broken at midnight, but I don't want to. I don't want to wait to see. I'm done, Gail. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are the best. I promise you, y'all are. And listen. Whether we can do it or we not, if we hit our numbers and we can do it, then we will. And if we don't, then we good. Because I promise you, I will still be in this seat, no matter what. And that's a promise. All right, Gail. I'm done.
Without you, there will be no us. So we do need your help. Again, those of you that would like to send a text message or a voicemail, you can call that number of 210-960-6364. That's 210-960-6364. You can leave a text message or a voicemail, and we would love to hear from you. We will get back with you. God, we thank you for another time of coming together and talking to your people. God, we thank you for Bishop Jordan. We thank you for his mind. We thank you for his heart to teach those that want to know about the Church of God in Christ. And God, we ask that you bless those that have given already. Bless their seed, God, that you will increase it 100-fold, 1,000-fold, God. Those that have already given and those that are about to give. God, please bless them as they give to Bishop Jordan for this endeavor to run for chairman of the Church of God in Christ Incorporated. And God, I pray for every preacher. I pray for every pastor. I pray for every missionary. God, I pray for every auxiliary leader. I pray for every lay member, those that are members of these churches that are a part of the Church of God in Christ. God, we pray for increase. We pray for jobs. We pray for healing. We pray for comfort for those that are sad, that are going through, that are in their bereavement period. God, we pray that you will comfort them, God. And those that are in the hospital, God, we pray that you will touch the doctors, touch the nurses, touch the caregivers that are working in the hospital, in the rehab centers, that those that need help, God, that you will heal and touch their bodies and bless those that care for them. God, we pray for the children that you will cover them, God, as they go to school from day to day. God, put a hedge around them, God, and protect them. And God, we thank you for being our God. God, we thank you for being our provider. We thank you for being our healer. And God, now that we are ready to leave this show, God, I ask you to bless all the people that are watching live and watching on the replay. God, bring things to them that they need. God, meet every need. We know you are a person that meets all our needs. And God, those that desire a work, God, put it in their heart to get in whatever auxiliary that they need to work in the kingdom and help build a church. Bless them to help their pastors, God. People need to get busy, and we're getting busy on your word. We're getting busy. We're getting busy for you, God. We're getting busy because there are so many people that are lost. And God, you can help us. Thank you for the strength that you give us every day, oh God. Thank you for the keeping our minds, God, because a lot of things are going on in the world and we could go crazy. But God, you said you would keep our minds if we would keep our minds on you. And we're keeping our minds on you. And God, we love you. We thank you. We cherish you. We worship you. We appreciate you for everything that you are doing in our lives. And God, as we leave this time of social media, God, bless us, God. Bless us, God. Hold us in your arms. Keep us in your will, God. Don't let us go astray. God, if we go to the right, if we go to the left, bring us back to the right. And God, if we kind of go bend over a little bit, straighten us up, God. Let us walk straight. God, bring us into a place that will please you. And God, we glorify you. We thank you for Bishop Jordan. Bless his heart. Bless his home. Bless his finances. Bless his businesses. God, we just thank you for all things. And we give you the glory. We give you the praise. Amen.